Here we are. Here with Mr. Ryan Barby.
How's it going, son?
Been a long time coming. I've had a lot of requests to get you on a show, and you've had a lot of fucking experiences, man. From serving your country, not just in the octagon, but also in a fucking deadly war zone, and receiving medals, and to boxing, to now doing close protection, and we'll get through all of that. But first of all, so how's things? How are you, man?
Yeah, it's all good. Obviously, fellow Corby man, always try and help people out in the town. It's a great town to live in, to be fair. I know some people might get a good press, but I always think it is just like plenty to do. People don't appreciate what they've got. Like, it's got everything you need, all the supermarkets, it's got loads of gyms. Like, I like training, obviously, so sport for choice for gyms, and it's got like a swimming pool. It's got everything you need, and the people are great, got good banter, and the best thing I like about Corby as well, and no one can ever take this away from us, is when the chips are down, everyone chips in and helps each other out. A good example recently with the Kyle Hughes scenario, everyone's chipping in. When anything like that happens in the town, all I can see is positive stuff, and everyone just helps each other out. So I honestly love growing up in Corby as a kid, and I haven't got a bad word to say about it, to be fair.
And you know what? Like, I remember coming here. I was 8 years old, couldn't speak a word of English, man, and went into the roughest area of Corby. I was down the Pluto area, and I swear, like, the people just took me and accepted me, man. But I just want to say, we had a tragedy 2 days ago. I lost a very, very good friend in Christian 7. My condolences and my heart goes out to his family, his mother Colette. What I will say about him is he lived life to the fullest. He touched a lot of hearts. He left a lot of memories, and he will be missed by lots of people. But you know what? When we fucking drink, we're gonna have a lot of stories, with a lot of good stories to tell about Mr. Christian 7. Also known as Crispo. Absolute legend in my eyes. One of the most intelligent men I've ever met. One of the most selfless men I've ever met. And just a crazy motherfucker, and but a loving motherfucker as well, and you can't take that away from him. So obviously, me and you are friends, and me and you met through training in Dan Palmer's gym, and this is another thing about Corby. I want to give a big shout out to Dan Palmer. He does so much for the community, and he's invested. He just invests time, in keeping kids off the streets. He taught me discipline when I was a kid until I discovered fucking partying. But now I still go back and I train, and that's still my home, And I look at Den as a close friend now, and he's just such. He's a character that we all need, and he's the sort of person. If any young kids are listening to this, he's the sort of person you want to be looking up to, not me. I can sit here, and I've got a lot of stories to tell, and I can talk shit for hours and I can make you laugh. But that man taught me discipline. That man taught me things that my father taught me. So there's a lot of people that need that figure in their life, and to this day he teaches me stuff. It hurts. His kicks hurt, his punches hurt, but like, it teaches you a lot, So big shout out to Den, and he's if you're listening, Den, I need you here the next couple of weeks, mate. So make some time, please. And you've obviously had a lot of experiences training with him, and you fought on the same cards as him. But before that, how did you get into combat sports, bro?
Well, it was my dad actually that took me to training first. I was 5 years old. You had to be 7 to start with the training, but he knew Darren Wildman personally, was a good friend of him, so he managed to sneak us in. So I was training with Kettering, and I just did that every day. I loved it. When I was a kid, wasn't really interested in anything else. I just watched all the old Bruce Lee films, and just thought, oh, this is awesome. And then a lot of the old boxers like my uncle was like well into boxing. We used to grow up watching all the boxing fights. Like I used to watch boxing fights that even happened before I was even alive. Obviously, like your Hearns, Hagler, Duran, and Sugar Ray Leonard, that sort of era. Because his favorite fighter was
Rest in peace, bro.
Thomas the Hitman Hearns, the original Hitman. And when I used to watch all the fights, I always had a warm heart. I don't know why, but to Roberto Duran, I really liked Roberto Duran. I used to love watching his fights, and I thought, oh, I wish I could like train and just get on that sort of path.
Do you think it's because like he come from a struggle that they didn't? Perhaps because Roberto Duran, he had his demons and stuff, and like I'm not saying you did, but he wasn't looked at. He was more of an outcast in the boxing world, and he was more of a loner at the Hands of Stone. But to me, I've always had a soft spot for him as well, and to me, he's one of the all-time greats, man. And you got to meet him in the fight. That's one thing I'm jealous of you for, bro. Is that you got to meet some of the biggest stars in the game, and we'll get to that. But going back to you watching these fights as a kid, how old were you then?
Yeah, I was very young, and it influenced me to go. Also did boxing gyms. It influenced me to get down to the boxing gyms. I started. I used to just have a BMX. I used to bike there. Like I lived opposite the Domino, so I used to bike all the way down to the local boxing gyms and just like train like on a daily basis. But it was brilliant back then when you're like a kid, because you never get tired, and you don't really get hurt either, because like no one can really hit hard when you're like that young. So you're just in there all the time. We used to watch like the Nigel Benns and Ricky Hatton, like when he broke on the scene, like used to go like further on, used to like watch all them. I used to just like absolutely love it. And then I finally got my big chance to like box in the ABAs. Had my first like amateur fight when I was about 10 years old, and then I just kept the ball rolling, because when you're that age, you're fit and you just like jump in as much as you can. Any inter club that comes up, and like all the bouts, like it was brilliant back then. Like absolutely loved it.
So, do you remember the first fight you ever watched on TV?
I can't remember, but it must have been one of the Thomas Hearns fights. It would have been them like sort of fights that used to get put on, because that's what my uncle used to put on. They used to the Hearns, the Haglers, and Sugar Ray Leonard, all them boys. And
R.I.P. to the Marvelous, by the way.
Yeah, he actually passed away, ironically, yesterday.
No, I remember my first fight I watched, right, and this might sound like I got into boxing late, but it was Hatton Mayweather.
Oh, brilliant!
And I remember my fucking dad made this big hog roast, like a full fucking pig, right? So we were eating this hog roast. He gave me and my friend a couple of beers, and we're sitting until 5 in the fucking morning. This is before we discovered cocaine. So we're sitting until 5 in the morning, minds like that. And, I actually wanted Mayweather to win, because I just loved the way he trash talked. It was like, because growing up I used to watch a lot of wrestling, right? And it was like, it just reminded me of that,
Fuck your wrestling, I wanted Hatton to smash him.
But now, if it was now, I didn't know who Ricky Hatton was. I didn't know who the fuck they were. I just knew it was a big fight. So
yeah, I used to love watching the Hatton fights. He was the main fight I used to love watching live. Like his fans were brilliant. Like he was just a great guy. Like he was probably like my favourite fighter ever from like Britain, definitely. Like Ricky Hatton. Like,
and even now his son's just 10 pro, isn't he?
Yeah, Campbell, yeah.
And he's I've seen on Instagram. He's got good banter. He's got like he's got that Hatton gene in him, man.
That's making me feel old. Like he's still about now.
Wait, do you know what? Like, I mean, like you're 31 years old.
Oh, I wish I was a little bit older than that, folks.
How old are you?
I'm 33 next month, unfortunately. Just don't tell
33.
anyone. We'll cut that bit out.
Right. So like, at 33 years old, right? You're shy of 4 years older than me, right? And we're gonna talk about your achievements and what you've done, right? And fucking hell, to me, that's magnificent. A lot of people don't achieve that. One of the things you've done, in an entire lifetime. So, when did you first start boxing, and how long did you box for? Like just solely boxing?
Yeah, just solely boxing was from about 10. I did it for about 6 years, all the way up to till I was 16. Also, that's when I went into the military.
Yeah, and like in between that, like how many fights do you reckon you had?
Cause I had the unlicensed all in sort of thing. I reckon with the boxing I hit about dead on like 80. But I had a couple when I was older as well. And then obviously you've been to a couple of fights, especially the one in the Phantom went off afterwards. You won't forget that one.
Yeah, that's an unforgettable fight.
And then after that,
And you won that fight as well.
Yeah, I did. That was a good one. That was a great night. Then later on after that, like ended up winning the Impact Fight UK like the boxing title after 2 good fights, and that was a good moment. To be fair, that was probably the one I enjoyed the most. Like,
and you know, the fight before that it was very short notice, and then in the rematch you won a belt, didn't you?
Yeah, like a couple of times throughout a career in the box, I used to take fights like short notice because I used to always train, and I don't know why, I just always. I think I was just eager to get in there, really.
So what do you think is the shortest that you've ever took a fight on?
I remember one, like that one itself was like less than a week. I was only a few days, but I remember one on East Coast Fight Factory. I took it on the
My mum asked me to put the bin out, and I struggled. Like, I
took it on the Thursday, the day before all the way, and I think that was a record on one of them shows. Yeah.
Wow, man, that's fucking incredible, man. So so obviously you boxed till 16, and then you enrolled in the military.
Yeah, straight from school. I didn't know what to do. I liked physical things, hands-on, and obviously the military come up. So I've always wanted to do. I thought I'd be like quite suited to it. And then because with the boxing, I was training like every day anyway, and I was like quite disciplined in like no drinking, no smoking, no drugs, etc. So I thought,
you left that to me.
Yeah, you did it for both of us. You did like some of your stories, but yeah, that was it. I thought, yeah, brilliant. So I've always wanted to. I used to watch the old, as cheesy as it sounds, old war films. I thought, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. I enjoyed it that much, and I wanted it that much. Like I would have even done it for free. Like just like I thought that lifestyle. I thought, fucking hell, man, you get paid to do that. Like fucking, where do I sign? This is awesome.
Right, so this is the fucking question I've been waiting to ask you, right? The fucking parachutes. Talk me through that, because look, it would take a whole platoon to push me off a fucking airplane. So talk to me how what made you do it, and how you passed such a hard course and at such an early age, and how the whole experience felt.
Well, to get to do the parachute course that Barcelona, you have to pass. I did all my training to become a regular soldier. Then I went on to the specialist training of a P company, and then ended up doing that. Go like through all the tests, like just get like smashed like every single day, and you get like all your like skills up. And then when I finally passed that was a good moment. I finally got to go on my jumps course. Then I think it's like a 3-week course, and you get about 6 or 7 jumps in till you pass it to get your wings on your arm. I might be wrong there, but they build you up. You do your clean fatigue, so you jump out with no equipment. That's sort of like a dummy run. And then you have your Bergen afterwards, so that drops down on a rope, so you get used to having your kit with you. And then they build you up to have your weapon with you. And then towards the end, you even do like a night jump as well. But it's absolutely brilliant. You get like great buzz. And to be fair, I'm not saying this to try and like the big man on this, or like say about the fear thing, but I generally never really was like scared doing it. I used to just like enjoy it, and it's not as probably as scary as people think, because we used to like get on a static line, so it opens for you. So as soon as you jump out, you've got 4 seconds, you count in your head, and then look up to make sure the canopy's there. And thankfully for me, like while I'm still sitting here, it was always there. We always had the reserve, but I never had to pull it, and I got lucky with all my landings. Always had clean landings, but it was a great experience, and people should try it, man. Parachuting, like, it's a good little buzz, like, and honestly, it's not as scary as you think. It's a good little experience.
Yeah, I'm petrified of heights, so like, but like, what was the first, like, you know, when you stand there, when you first ever jumped, like, what were you feeling then?
I thought, like, I'm the luckiest guy alive right now. I'm getting paid to do this. This is awesome. But yeah, it's like 8 years that sort of like jump out, and it's what one after the other. It's quite quick, so you don't really have like sort of time to like be feared, sort of thing. And especially most of the lads that are all together, they're all like got that sort of camaraderie and like kudos and all like sort of alpha male. So if you like sort of like look like you're a bit scared or show a bit of weakness, they're just gonna like take the piss out of you, really. So there's always just that like sort of man up sort of attitude in the airborne forces, where you didn't really have sort of time, and you're a product of your environment. So like some of the lads I was with, they were just like proper up for it as well. So it was never really an issue, really. It was just more like enjoyable.
So like when you jump out and when the actual parachute opens, like, is that a therapeutic feeling? Like, what's that feeling like? You know, just floating and knowing you're gonna land and knowing how to land. Like,
yeah, we get taught how to land. You just like roll whichever way, like direction you're going in with the wind, but we get drilled with it loads. Like that's one good thing about us. We used to like in all different scenarios you get like drill. So it just comes second nature. So we're ready for it. But when the chute finally opens, it's quite peaceful up there. Like when you go down, it's brilliant.
And how long are you up there for when it opens?
Well, when you jump out, it's like 4 seconds till your chute opens, and then when you're coming down, depends how many feet. I think like one of them's what sort of like average about 800 to 900 feet. So it doesn't like take too long, but I couldn't put a time on it, like how many minutes or whatever it is. It's a shame because it's sort of like an old school sort of way of fighting. It's Winston Churchill that created it, and it's got used a lot in like World War II, and it like really the boys like did really well there, and it come into effect. But now with modern technology, I can't see it ever getting used in real time, which is unfortunate.
But so do you feel fortunate that you were actually able to do that then?
I never did it into battle, which would have been a dream come true. But to do it and drill it sort of thing, it was like absolutely brilliant.
Did you ever were you ever scared that you were going to land in some fucking thorn bush or some?
No, a couple of people had some like horror injuries here and there, but like I say, I was always dead like lucky. But I was still boxing. I used to box in the regiment as well, so I was always fearful. Like that's one thing the only thing I was scared of anything at that sort of time would be I'd just be gutted if I like broke my leg or something, got injured because I'd missed the training so much. But so I wasn't scared of that. I was just didn't want to get injured. As long if I didn't get injured, that's fine. That's me happy.
Yeah. So after that course, where did you progress after that?
Well, I was 17, so I had to wait till 18 to get my big chance to go on tour because the UK rules are you can't go to combat or on tours to operations or like war environment until you're 18. So as soon as I hit 18, like I was me, like buzzing, like finally got my chance I've been waiting for like my whole life really. So I got to deploy.
That's awesome, man. And like, did you go straight to Afghan?
Yeah, it was Helmand Province, Afghanistan on Herrick 8. So it was in the summer, so it was a good tour. It was like a busy tour, got to do a job. It was...
and when was that, 2000?
This one was 2008.
So you get there, like, so what was your first, like, experience? Because I would be thinking, fucking hell.
Yeah, then, it was my birthday that was not long after being there. And then, when I first got there, it was just like... I remember being like Bastion, and we got like got told which fob you're going into, and I got called out. I got like my unit was attached to the 2-power battle group, so that was like the battle group that we all worked underneath, all the attached arms and medics, everyone that was there. And when we got told to go into like fob incoming, like I was like, oh, that's buzzing because that was supposed to be like the one that like seen the most like incoming or just the most sort of it was most closest one to sang and active. Dangerous. Yeah, if you could like call it there, that was
basically like in a nutshell, like in layman's terms.
Yeah, it was the one that like people wanted to go to, sort of thing. Really, yeah.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't, but like, but do you think that was that you were chosen to go there because they knew how headstrong you were and how much you proved yourself as having a big set of fucking balls, and I'm just unbreakable mentality?
I think it was just pot luck, really, but I was glad it happened. Everything happens for a reason. I was happy for it. I remember when we were like flying out there in the Chinook from Bastion to there. I think it was like 4.
By the way, for those listening, I didn't know what Chinook was until last night. It's a helicopter with a 2 set of propellers, and I flew it on GTA. But it's so I know what a Chinook is now. You've already educated me. Yeah. This is my podcast. I'm supposed to be teaching you.
Yeah. So when we was flying over there, that was a good buzz, and I remember just like thinking about my brother and that, like my younger brother, because he gave me a hug like before I went, sort of thing. Like I think a lot of soldiers do that. They have that like glimpse. The brain works in mysterious ways. Maybe it was like a comfort thing, and I thought like, maybe we want to be back home. But
do you think that gave you the the willpower a reason to come back, a reason to live, and a reason to fight?
Yeah, definitely. Like it was just, but I chose to be there. Like, and even when I think back now, it might sound strange, but it was like, aside of anything bad that happened, it was like the best time of my life. Like I absolutely loved it. The blokes I was working with were top blokes, and it was just honestly like they would never be beaten. It was just like the best time of my life. I absolutely loved it, every second of it.
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, Ryan, like you represent your country. You got a lot of medals for it. You got a lot of memories. You made a lot of friends. and you did what you enjoyed. Like you fucking jumped out of airplanes. You got paid for it. Like, see, I mean, I remember you telling me that people call that weird. I don't think that's weird at all. Like, I think what's weird is people that don't, um, don't grab their fucking balls and don't chase their dreams. That's what you wanted to do from the age of 16, and look what you accomplished. Because by this time, what, you were only 18 years old.
Yeah, and then it was my birthday not long after that. But yeah, it was like that was absolutely brilliant. It's like something like always wanted to do. Like would have done it for free. Like yeah, you can't beat it. Like buzz and just yeah, it was awesome. Like it makes you like appreciate like life more as well. Because even like things like little things like having a shower, etc. Like when we're out there in the desert and stuff, like it's just everything's up against you really, all the elements.
Well, like the shower that you were building when you got an RPG fired at you.
Yeah, that was like literally like the second day we were there. But when we flew in, we got promised we are going to get attacked. Everything got like
So
hyped,
if anybody listening needs a shower built, call Ryan Barby on this number.
Definitely don't.
Just unless you got an RPG. That must have been a crazy experience though. Like,
yeah, I remember seeing it landing. It was like had like the black like smoke. It wasn't like too far of us. Me and a fellow colleague, Soldier W, we'll call him. Like we were just there, and like one might come in, like just blow the ears out, and like doing. I mean,
because I've seen the photos and we'll have them up on the video. It's just such a it's so fascinating to look at, and so fascinating to see how close you are to the enemy. Like it's insanity, and but to go there, to still be able to look. First of all, like, dog, like, how the fuck did you sleep at night?
Yeah, we were just on like rotation, but
no, I mean, like, how the fuck did you sleep at night without knowing that the Taliban were fucking 30 feet away?
Well, I just like drilled it into my head that like sort of like you're gonna die one day anyway, so you're already dead. So if you ever got like taken out, like here, it's sort of like a bonus really. At least you like died with honor. So yeah. we're gonna die one day soon enough anyway. So it's good to push yourself, put yourself out the comfort zone, and just like when I went to sleep at night, I didn't let it bother me.
Bro, see, when I sleep and I'm not in my house, I have to take a fucking comfort pillow, $2 a pound. I have to get like an emergency phone to talk to Frank, like whatever the fuck is going on, like so that's fucking magnificent. I take my hat off to you for that. In fact, I'm not taking my hat off. I was supposed to get my hair cut yesterday, right? My fucking barber didn't turn up. Now I'm sitting here looking like one of the fucking terrorists that you shot. So it's fucking that's why I'm wearing the hat. So but respect to you, man. Fucking hell, like there's not a lot of people that live to tell that tale. And unfortunately, you've also experienced that.
Yeah, with the incoming, that was a surreal moment. That sort of like makes you like grow up fast, sort of thing. And then I remember the next one after that when SPG 9 round. Tank hit the back of the compound and then made like one hell of a crack. I always remember that. And I got a couple of pictures of where it landed because where the wall is as well. Yeah, with the sun, it like
we'll get them up as well.
It makes it like really like hard. It's like even like harder than like a tank armor. Just like it's some ancient things.
When you show me the picture of the wall and
it doesn't do much damage to it. It's crazy.
I think it took like
they've been there for like thousands of years. These walls are just because they live in the past out there and it just hardens over the years.
I wish they had walls like here. That's not the fucking past.
And then that's where that shrapnel was there, Vuk. Like I showed you last night. That was what I took.
It's crazy that you got part of history, man.
Yeah, I took part of the wall out of it. But the best bit of history was didn't land like, in the compound, but it wasn't like as close to us. There was a mortar that landed inside Fobbingham and not from where we were. But miraculously, the fin sort of stayed like pretty much all full intact. Like I don't even know how it did. Obviously, it went off, but it just stayed in a good piece. And that's actually in a museum. When I had it, like it got handed up to the chain of command, but that got put in a museum. It's in a museum somewhere in the UK. But
you got a picture of it, didn't you?
Yeah, I had it like held of me, but it's an awful picture. You should see the state of my hair. It's like worse than yours. It's like
no one's gonna see mine.
It's like one of these microphones. It's going everywhere because I didn't have any barbers out there. So, but yeah,
apart from you or Barbie,
just had it, and then obviously a few rounds there. Like that was one from the AK-47.
This is what I have to lift up, right?
I thought you meant that one.
This is what AK-47 bullet.
Yeah, that's 7.62 that one. Then the other ones are the 5.56s from the NATO.
But this is what the Taliban are using at the time.
Yeah, that got handed to us like when we're there. I can't remember how they come about, but they were just like ones that are like left over that I brung back.
So this was supposed to end your career.
I don't know about that.
Well, yeah, they fucking
and that grenade pin was, I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't even nothing to do with me. Like, it wasn't me that did it, but that got like used somewhere out there, or someone. That's what I mean. I just had it locked away. I've only just brought this out when you said even them photographs like over there. I hadn't brought them out. Like, you're the first person to call that's even seen them.
I want to show this to the camera because, like, a lot of people go to the army and they have some stories, but look, to have 2 books of photos of your experiences, and I've seen them and they're amazing pictures. I'm going to put some of them up on this video, and I genuinely thought, like, I genuinely think you can make a book out of them. And if you write a paragraph about each photo, like, it's absolutely, the history and the story behind it is absolutely insane, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. There's plenty of other people that like did like what I did and did better in their military career than me, but I just telling my story.
And I'm talking about, like, fucking, you look at it from a soldier's perspective. You're surrounded by people with the same minds, but, like, 90% of the people aren't those people. So, like, we don't, I don't look at it like that. I look at that like, fuck me, like, that's history. That's an insane story. You just look at it as normal. Like, it's the same way I was in, the war I was in. I look at that as normal because I was in there and I was surrounded by people that were also, getting bombed and losing their houses and shit. I lost my house. I was 78 days when NATO bombed us. And it was normal to me. But, like, if I say it to you or say it to someone else, it's not normal. So when you're in it, you're in it. And that's why I kind of understand from another point of view of war what you're saying, because it just becomes no matter. Like, I was still going to school when the war was on.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, because when you're in that environment, like, it just like seems normal. It's not when you get back and then
it's not until like, do you know when I realized, like, when I come to England and I didn't know you had this shit called, like, bonfire night. I don't know what the fuck this was. I was just a little kid, man. I come here, my mum was like, look, just wear your school uniform, don't get your dick out, just be normal. So I went to school, learn English. It took me from September to December. And I had these fireworks, and I'll never forget, like, I started shaking, man. I started crying. I was pissing the bed, man, until I was like fucking 9 years old, bro. Because I was so scared of loud bangs. Even now, if you fucking pop a balloon in front of me, bro, it takes me like fucking 20 minutes to recover. But it's not until I got here I realised that.
Yeah, it happens. Because I remember when I got back and seen my family, and then the surreal moment was when my mum showed like she kept like some of the paper articles like when I was out there, because she had a rough idea where I was and stuff, but she didn't really know what was going on. And then front page of the newspaper, the national paper, there was a picture, and it was the 3 lads that made it up to the 100 KIA, like that stands for killed in action, sorry for viewers. And the 3 people there, sort of thing. Like, I remember actually being like at that event, sort of thing, when it happened. And I thought, wow, that's actually like front page of the newspaper. I had no idea when I was out there.
So how did you feel when that happened?
Yeah, it was.
Really, how did you feel like when the event actually happened?
Oh, the event. If we go into that, we're gonna go deeper with Rick.
Listen, this ain't just fucking jokes and banter, bro.
Yeah. Well, the untold story then. Right. Well, we're here. It was they're going out. The lads were going out on patrols normal. I think it was 7 platoon part of 2 para, and they were just doing the normal route. And they'd already seen this guy before. It was an elder from the village, an older guy, and we'll do it in, like, by names because the family's that, like, Soldier 1. He'd done Pashto lessons back in the UK, so he was the one that sort of interpreted to a minimum sort of standard, so he could, like, talk to them.
And for the viewers, that's the language.
Yeah, they've got a few different languages. The Pashto was the ones that they talked to. So he went up to speak to this elder again, and there was 3 of them pretty close. But this elder had a suicide vest on, and he detonated himself.
Wow.
And it like took like the 3 closest ones out, closest to them. So Soldier 1, 2, and 3. cut long story short, when they got in the pin scour and when it come on the net, there was a medic on the scene, but the other medic that was at Inkerman, we called him Medic R. He when he said to us, I just happened to be the closest person to him, and he said, I grabbed the med bag. So we went down to the HLS, which stands for Helicopter Landing Site, because obviously from Bastion, where the like proper doctors and the treatment are, they had to come over to like Kazvac and pick them up. So in that time when all like 3 of them were there, like 2 was still alive at the time, but they were like badly injured, killing wheeze, and they took all the clothes off. But I remember it was like a really hot day. It was always hot out there, but it was like peak time, so it must have been like about 11, 12 o'clock, sort of like midday. And the soldier one that I like helped out, sort of thing, like he sort of like died instantly, but it didn't really like register me at the time, and they're getting like treated. But the medic took charge of it and told everyone like what to do. And the thing I remember, like seeing him, picture it and everything, was one of his like close sort of pals, calling him like Soldier M. He was saying stuff like, "Oh, you're gonna go out to Bastion. You're gonna be right. Oh, you're lucky bastard. You can go to like get some pizza and like things like that, just to try and like keep him calm, or like so he didn't realise what was going on." Then when the helicopter landed, because that's when you're vulnerable to get attacked, but nothing happened. They popped like the blue smoke or whatever, and then I had to like me and lads, I had to like pick up like Soldier 1. And we had to like put them on the back of the Chinook, and the other lads picked up Soldier 2 and 3. And then sadly, on the way to Camp Bastion, Soldier 2 and 3 like deceased as well, so they didn't make it. So all 3 of them ended up KIA that day. And it's just a surreal moment, because when it got the next day, everyone just cracked on as normal. We just had to like battle on. A few of them lads went back on patrol in the same route, like literally. It might have even been the day after. I can't remember. It was definitely within the same like couple of days. And
do you think that was just to keep their mind off what happened? And
they just had a job to do. But that's, I mean, when it was there, it didn't like, affect. But it was just when you got back to the UK and like you're seeing it, as thought like I was actually like front page of the national paper, and it was like quite a big like story. And then that's like when I just thought, oh wow, like it's like.
And did you have any friends that you were close to that had any fatalities out there, or like that? Did you ever get so very, very close to them? And because I know you're close to people now still, like from the military, but did you ever lose anybody that was close to you?
Yeah, we've got a WhatsApp group where we like help each other out if people are feeling down or share their stories, etc. But luckily, people I was like particularly close to was all right, and everything happens for a reason, like I said before in the podcast. But the Soldier 1 that was KIA'd when we were there, like fortunately he was supposed to be on the same jumps course as me, but then I got delayed because I went to Kenya on exercise for like 6 weeks, so we ended up not being on the same jumps course. So if had that happened, we might have like got to know each other a lot better. So it was quite good that we didn't really like have that like really like sort of like connection. So we were really like close, like from different units, etc. and within the battle group.
Do you believe that would have changed your mindset when you were out there, or when you got back?
I like to think that it wasn't everything that happened. I was just like
because I mean, you said you were shocked when you seen it in the paper. Like, imagine that was your close friend. I mean, do you think it would have made a difference?
Yeah, well, I remember one of my like close mates out there, like sort of thing, when because they have the IEDs out there apparently, like, but one of them like turned over when he was like top cover, but like it didn't go off, so that was a good lucky escape. But that was a different fob. That was like I wasn't there at that scene, and then, but I always remember like some of the lads, like when because we're part of the Jiva convention, when they picked up like people like Taliban or they claim to like to be locals, we have to help them. So when they come after one battle or whatever happened, they come back to the Pinscow, and then there was like 3 of us. It was me, Soldier O, and Soldier C. Like we had to get them back into the med room, but I'm not sure why I was even there. And then we had like, the gloves on, but when the Pinscow like come out and it come down, like the closest one to us obviously it took like a head injury, so like that was like pretty grim. And we went to get wet, and then we had to go into the med room and then just pass it on to meds, and they like did their thing.
So I mean, what would you say is the most like dangerous things to happen to yourself personally when you were out there that you can recall? Like the closest, brush, whether it be a fatality, like the closest thing that, the most dangerous thing that happened to you personally?
I think like personally was what maybe like sort of like hit hard if anything did hard was when because I'm a everyone knows me, I'm a massive dog lover, and one of the attachments of the dog handler that was there, he was the dog was called Sasha, and I can't remember the lad's name, but it was Soldier F. He was like a Geordie lad, and he was in good spirits, and he was like 24 years old. But I remember like he got KI'd as well. I think they got hit by an RPG or small arms. But I remember like I was chatting to him like literally like a couple of days. I always think it was the day before, but I might be exaggerating that. But it was definitely within a couple of days. But I always think it was the day before that I spoke to him, because he was queuing up in the cookhouse and he wanted to like send like some like message back like home. But I just said, you can go in front of me, because I think he had like family and kids, and like I was single and I didn't really talk to many people when I was out there. So I said, like I'm not even bothered. You can just like crack on. But I think because when that happened, because it was such a selfless act, because he wasn't supposed to be there. He was supposed to end his tour or move somewhere like about 4 or 5 days prior, but he said he wanted to stay with like the lads and help them out, because it's too like risky where it was. So I think that was a bit of like a shocker really, because he like shouldn't have been there. It was a selfless act, because you've got to admire that like in the military, like you've got integrity, respect for others, and like selfless act, and that was like first hand like.
And a lot of people don't hear about those selfless acts, and people literally giving their lives, to fight hard the bad guys, and people only see, in the papers, like, when, somebody comes back with medals and stuff, but like they don't see how they got those, and I don't see that until I spoke to you. So, I mean, another thing I wanted to ask you actually is it true that you nearly got blown up?
Was that what with the shower, wasn't it?
No. Is it true? Was it a bomb?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was. I think it was like when the RPG like hit like early on the second day. If we could touch on that. On another time when actually went on that's probably what it was. It was when he was on the HLS. We're waiting for like a resupply. It was like for like water or like blue letters and like resupply. And one of the signs that said like "Run for your life, boys." And I remember me and my mate Soldier W like laughed about it, and we were just like booing it off. And then it just got like, RPG. They just seen it as an opportunity like to take it. That's when we started like putting more of the top covers on. Do you see when in Wimics and you got the 50 cal up? The top. We put that picture up, Joe, and the top.
Yeah,
50 cal.
yeah.
But I wasn't on it for that time. But we used to got that. That was like our protection all around defense for it. But we was on the ground. Yeah, I remember when that like would come in, like it was just like. It was boom, boom, it was just like going off, and then we were just like running, like. But the weird thing is, everyone started like laughing. I mean, the lads, I think it's a defense mechanism. Like you can ask like a lot of soldiers when anything happens like that, like people they just like giggle. Like
the nervous laugh is, I've nervous laugh before. I think everybody has, but in a war zone it's different. And to have an RPG fired at you when you're on foot, it's like how did you feel at that moment in time, man?
Yeah, so I was more worried about them camel spiders kicking about when I'm sleeping.
Oh, when you show me them camel spiders, like those motherfuckers, I would, I don't know. I think I'd rather just go into war like with just hand wraps than face them camel spiders, man. Did you ever did you ever have any experience with a camel spider?
Yeah, a couple that picture I took that was on.
Those motherfuckers are bigger than me.
Yeah, not to be underestimated. Never underestimate anything. Nature and creatures, they can like kill me off more than anything, like disease and.
If people that say they're scared of spiders.
Yeah, they don't want to see this.
If they ever see that, they don't ever join the fucking military.
I think out in the desert, like we would say, I think it was about like 4 times we encountered them, but like, and they're like sort of size of like a dinner plate when they're fully grown. But the thing that they're sneaky with, if they bite you on the leg, they'll like it will make it like go numb, and then when it starts like chewing at you. When you're sleeping, you wouldn't even wake up and feel it. It would just keep like more on. That's why they're a danger. Because
it's like a fucking rapist, man. What's the damage that it can do to you? Like,
it's not to be laughed at. They can.
It can be like a legs can get cut off and like stuff for.
Yeah, especially because we was out in the desert, so they would have to Kazakh all the way back to like Bastion, so there'd be like a time lapse, and they can't come in like all the time. So yeah, it would be a right nuisance. Like to be fair,
So I was like, so what precautions do you guys take to like keep them out?
Yeah, we had the old when we used to like train out and like exercise in Kenya. We changed up our training a lot because I used to train in Wales a lot, and like all the cold weather, the wind and the snow, and then obviously when we get ready to go out in the Middle East, that's where we started working a lot out in Kenya.
So what was it like in terms of changing in climate, man? Because with all that gear on to go from fucking Wales to like that heat, it must have been there must have been a lot of it must the body must have took a lot of toll, because it's not an easy change.
Yeah, they sent us like training. We were moving every 3 days, so it was a bit of a lick out. And we even went to like Archer's Post as well, which is nicknamed Archer's Roast. It's the third hottest place in the world, so
And
you got used to packing your kit in a different way. So when we got out there in the camel spiders, we were used to sleeping in mosquito nets, and cause that's what we slept in sometimes if there was a threat to camel spiders, because also mosquitoes are a big threat in Africa and in Kenya. So we got used to like drilling our skills in that environment. And it's like it's really dark at night, so you have to have your kit squared away before you go to bed, and then so when we transferred it over to like Afghanistan, so that was brilliant. So in 2007, I spent a bit of time out in Kenya, which was fucking awesome, man. You got to see and do quite a lot.
You also got to see some poverty, didn't you?
Yeah, when you see these adverts on telly, like it's not the same as we see it in real life. When you see like people walking for miles for like the drinking water. There's a couple of kids who've got a spare bit of rations. We was on rations all the time there, but if you just give them a bit, like they're like as happy as anything. I remember one of the lads was like sunbathing once and had a big packet of like boiled sweets, and there's like all his kids. I like showed him, I was like, yeah, and then I threw it on like to this lad, and then they were like diving over. It's like fucking bars, twat. They were like going mad. So,
Yeah.
But they appreciate it, man. They like absolutely love it. But it's good to see because they're some of the sightseeing. It's like a free safari when we're moving around. We're sitting on top of a
I see
like a 4-ton, that picture, and you go around and you got all the different animals and.
But going back, sorry to go back, but going back to the poverty, like growing up in Serbia, like there's no middle class, you get the high class and then you get the low class, right? Now, like my family was high class, but we were in a low class position at the time, right? But I was spoiled. I had fucking everything I needed, and I had a pet goat. I used to ride it every day, right? I loved that. My first ever car. So 4-wheel drive. So and like I had all the love. I was spoiled with love. I was spoiled with affection. I was spoiled with everything, right? But we were living around poverty, right? And we would see like people, literally kids picking stuff out of bins or looking for food and stuff. And there's a man named Sam Walker. He's just been released from prison, and what he did was when he was wanted, he went to Sierra Leone, and he went to the poverty areas, and he actually did use this platform for good. He built like schools. He stopped a lot of child soldiers and stuff like that. And he did so much for the communities over there. And I think if people aren't following his channel, they definitely should. He's a gentleman, and he plans on continuing now doing the same that he's out. Now I've lived in poverty firsthand. Do you know what? I remember coming here, right, and I remember being an Ox fan, right, to buy my fucking school uniform, and I remember seeing two people from school and they were laughing. Now I didn't understand what the fuck they were laughing at, like, but because to me, like when when I was in Serbia, there used to be like once every 2-3 months, a Red Cross truck would come, and you'd get like clothes and shit that you guys fucking sent us, but you know what? Like I was so happy when I got that T-shirt. Like it was 3 sizes too big, probably someone's fucking hen night, but it was like precious to me. So I understand, like I understand like where these kids are coming from, and I think a lot of people take things for granted, and see this shit we're going through right now, Bob. Yeah. I see this lockdown. Like right now, there's a lot of people like that feel like that. There's a lot of people that they need to look at those kids. Yeah, there's a lot of people that need to look at those kids that are happy with those fucking sweets, because A lot of people have spent their time competing on Instagram, competing with keeping up with the Joneses, getting cars on lease because you got an Audi, he's got a Mercedes, right? Motherfucker, just be happy with what you got. You got a roof over your head. You got fucking food in the fridge. You got a pet dog if you ain't buy one. You know, if you want to buy a cat, buy one, but they stink. But like, people need to look at those kids and realize how fucking lucky they are in this country, and that's all I'm saying. So, going back like to the to Kenya, how long did you spend in Kenya like overall?
Yeah, it was like a 6 week exercise, and then you do like a bit of venture training, have a bit of R and then like back.
So what do you guys do for an R&R?
We went to like some like hotel thing, just like you chilled out, and got some like good food and sort of things. You used to like rations, but that's ironic really, because it was only like a mile or two like down the road, and it's like completely different. Like people are going there for like
I would have had my R&R every night
for the honeymoon sort of thing, and yeah, it was like brilliant. But with the R&R from on tour as well, we went to Cyprus. That was a good one. So like I think it was like 2 days in Cyprus, but all the lads just went like wild, man. Everyone just all the AirBorne lads just like went.
What part of Cyprus were you?
Well, it begins with an A. It was like aqua something.
I only know Pathos. I'm sure.
Yeah, I remember. I was at a wedding in Paphos. That was good, but I can't remember. It begins with an A. It's like aqua something like. But yeah, it was fucking like brilliant. I loved it. All the AirBorne lads are like fucking characters, man. They just fucking an absolute fucking mental.
I can imagine, because like that is a fucking tough job, and like to do it for 6 months straight, like you need a release after, man.
Yeah, they're bad enough as on a at the weekend anyway. But yeah, it was just like a ticking time bomb. But that's what I feel sorry for. That's what I feel lucky and grateful for with the PTSD, because I've come out all right, and I've cracked on life, and I'm happy. Whereas a lot of our lads were like they've like gone different routes, and with the PTSD, like the brain, like I said earlier, works in mysterious ways. I'm not a doctor, I can't explain what happens and stuff, but an actual stat and a fact was from our battle group, like more people committed suicide and died when after we got back than actually killed or even injured like whilst we were there.
That's a horrible statistic.
So the stats talk themselves, but I don't understand. There's always different theories. There's lots of different versions of it, but so I'm just like grateful that I've come out on top and I'm all right.
Do you believe there's enough help out there for people that are going for suffering with PTSD and mental health issues?
I think, like, aside from the military, just the world in general, it's hard. Like, look what Tyson Fury's doing. If he can suffer from it, anyone can. The big
yeah, they're done.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I named my dog after him. But yeah, John Fury, like that's what I named as well. Because when I met like Tyson Fury and stuff, I spent more time speaking to his dad, and it was weird. He gave me like this massive like prep talk as if he was in my corner or something. I didn't even know the bloke, and he said one of the things he said, never give up, never ever give up, and he just spilled his thing, and then I was like, you know what, like just give me like a good little kick up the arse like randomly out of nowhere, and then I was going to call my dog Duran, but ended up calling it well,
you can buy
Fury.
It, you can buy one of mine. Call it
yeah,
Duran.
I will definitely.
So like it's actually fascinating how many like of your idols you've met. I mean, you met Roberto Duran. You've met Ricky Hatton.
Yeah.
You met Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Like you can't get any bigger than that. And the biggest one for me though is, and then you predicted it. And the funny thing is, he used that quote later on. Like you predict these things. You took a picture of Conor McGregor, in 2013.
I can't remember when it was, but I remember it was when he was injured with his knee. He was never like champion of the world then. It's when he sort of like first broke on the scene, man. He was a special talent.
It was after the Max Holloway fight then, because is that when he injured his knee?
I think it was before. I remember it was when Machito was fighting Nunes that night, because it was that night when he got head kicked like really bad in that fight. Nunes did, but Conor's obviously a great guy, but he's like the number one random thing.
A fucking legend.
But that same night, I got to meet Chael Sonnen, so I was more happy with that. To be fair.
Yeah, but do you know what? Chael Sonnen, they're two of the biggest trash talkers and the best trash talkers in.
Yeah, they're good at what they do.
History, man. And do you know what? Like, you said, but in that caption in the picture, like he's the next big thing, And at that time, I'm not going to say he's a nobody, but like he wasn't a contender, like really, because anyway, and also he was injured, he was inactive. And one fact that I read John Kavanagh's book, right? And John Kavanagh said, he said, fuck, he's injured his knee, right? He was feeling down, and he said the way to motivate Conor McGregor, he says you have to give him a challenge. So John Kavanagh said to him like, well, GSP healed his in I don't know how many months, and Conor was like, I'll do it in 8.
Yeah.
And he did. And do you know another thing what people don't know is when he was supposed to fight Aldo the first time in July, when Aldo pulled out, Conor his knee was really badly injured, and they were saying, please don't let it be a wrestler to replace him, right? So they fucking chose Chaz Mendes, the best wrestler in the division, right? So they're all in the Mac Mansion, right? And it's like, who the fuck's gonna tell him, like, so like Conor sleeps till like apparently 1 or 2 p.m., 3 p.m. So like that's what me and him are like. So Kavanagh's went in his room, right? So he tapped him. He was like, Conor, Aldo's pulled out. They've chose Mendes, and Conor's reply was, "Fuck it, they're all the same."
Yeah, I love that mentality. Like, and that's why
he fought the hardest wrestler in the division with a fucked knee, and no one knew about it.
That's why Bisping as well. I was always a big fan of Bisping. Just like no matter what injury he got, he's really durable. Just cracks on, just keeps going. Because that's what being a fighter is all about, and being a soldier. It's just like it's not who's the fittest and strongest or who can do the amount of pull-ups. It's like when the going gets tough.
Good, because I can't do anything.
when the going gets tough, you've had no sleep, you've had no food, it's the conditions. It's like either roasting hot or it's snowing or whatever it is. It's just the blokes that just like crack on and who are durable that just keep going. That's all you got to do. Just like be durable and just like keep cracking on.
Yeah, because I remember you telling me about the exercise with the log, and you said it gets to a point where it's like you can't do it no more, and you just said your mentality was just fucking get it done. And not a lot of people have that mentality, So it's like I don't know whether you realize it or not, sometimes because you talk about it like it's such a normal thing, like an everyday thing, but it's very hard. But you told me something about was it the millet?
The milling, yeah, on test exercise week. Yeah, when you get to the end,
that's fucking crazy to me, man. Like, so explain that. Explain that, like that exercise, man, because that's it's a very fucking interesting one, to say the least.
Yeah, well, you go through like loads of tests before you get accepted to go on jumps course. Obviously, when you're on like the P company, you get like smashed like leading up to it, like every day, like just ridiculously just get like smashed. But if you make it to test week, but a lot of people come off, like mostly because of injuries. But if you get like to test week, they've got like certain things with the last sort of test. It could be like a trainasium where you jump onto things to make sure you can overcome your height fear. You do like your log runs and stuff, but they're just like designed to like, doesn't matter how fit you are, you're going to be gassed after 100 meters. Just like your will to just like sort of like carry on. It's more like pain tests than anything really. And one of the final tests is like you do a thing called milling, and it's just a 60-second like bout, if you will call it, thing, where it's like straight punches only and you're not allowed to block. So with the boxing background, it was like for me, but the other lads that ain't used to it, it's just like make sure they've got the bottle just to like keep going really. Like,
so it's just like two guys standing there and fucking punching each other for 6 seconds.
Yeah, we got to explain it to us, like if you can't do that, then if you're in a firefight, you're fucking dead wood to us. You're just pointless. So like just like crack on and do it. So just psych you up and you just do it. But so it sounds a bit barbaric, but it's not actually that bad.
But like how does it work? Like do you stand like just toe to toe and just use one hand, or like what?
No, you use both hands. You sit in a square. You're on like benches, and they call you up. They size you off like roughly the same size, and then they just go at it. But luckily for me, I was well into a running, and I used to like run all the time. I think I was a boxer at like junior welterweight. I was same day weighing at 63 kilos, so I was alright back then. Look, I've been obviously fighting a bit of a bigger guy now, like after the lockdown weights, etc. But yeah, and it was just you just get in there and just have it. But a lot of the lads loved it. It was really just an alpha male testosterone going everywhere.
Like, What sort of gloves were you wearing?
I can't remember what ounce gloves they are. I've probably got a clip of it somewhere, but like that's what I mean with a lot of this sort of thing, because so long ago, like things like Snapchats and Instagram didn't exist, so it's not really much.
Anyone that owes me money, like we're going to do this exercise.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah, I haven't got much on that, but yeah, if you, anyone research it, millions will on a test, and you have to pass that as well. That's not like
crazy. I've never heard of that before.
That's not like just go in a half-hearted. If you don't pull out the bag and fucking get stuck in, like they'll just fuck you off there, and like they'll be like, yeah, you can't. Like we don't care like what you've done leading up to it, like all this like. When you're on test week, you can't cough anything like that. That's it.
So what about like if you stood there for 60 seconds and you just took every dig and didn't flinch?
Yeah, they'd still like it. They just want someone just like hang in there. Really, like it's just like showing. It's controlled aggression. They want like people that can turn it on when they have to, and they can turn it off when they have to. It's like anything, like even the doors or anything in life. Like when the time's right, you can turn it on, but you don't want to be a liability where when it's all calmed down, like you're still in that fight and flight mode, and you just like carrying on. Then that's when you become a liability. You have to go back to like normal, like quick. So that's what it is. Just like making sure you can switch your brain from like turn it on when you have to, and turn it off when you don't. That's what makes a good soldier. Because if not, if you're always in that like fight or fight moment all the time, you just like you turn out to just be like a bully with a weapon sort of thing, as they would say.
And then when you get home, you carry that with you as well. So like, do you believe like do you believe it's difficult to have that that switch? Because I mean, even now, like doing what you're doing now, every day-to-day life, you've still got that switch, like, because I mean we'll get to the next part of your chapter like soon, but like you seem to have always had that switch in your army, like you were just there to do the job, there was no emotional investment, which I mean, like, did you believe there was no emotional investment because it was a defense mechanism, or it was just because you just loved what you were doing?
I think it was just like, put it down to like black and white. Like they were the bad guys, we were the good guys. We've got to protect our family. We'll just go there, and then obviously, like when you fight against people like the Taliban, they're not like regular human beings. They're like savages, and things they do to kids and women's like stuff I wouldn't even mention on the podcast. Like they're just. If you keep it black and white, it would complicate things. So if you start getting emotionally wrapped in it, like, oh, that person's quite young, or what's that? Like, then you just like hesitate, and that's how mistakes are made. So you just keep it plain simple. Like they're the bad guys, we're the good guys. That's what they used to nickname them. Terry Taliban, sort of like decategorize them really as the enemy. And luckily for me, after like all this, where a few of the lads suffered from like the PTSD, you can have different things like the guilt, survival guilt. You can have. Because when we were like an airborne like brotherhood, all the lads were like so close, it was like family but more. So people like missed that. And another thing is like the high, because the buzz is like so high that when you come back to like normal life, it's like so low. You have like it's hard like to deal with. That's why some people would end up just going off the rails. But I was lucky because all that energy, I used it. I transferred it straight into kicking, starting my MMA career. So I had the MMA to like channel it all into.
So like to go into mental health overall, including including ex-soldiers, and it's like, I believe like an exercise is a big part of overcoming it, and like not overcoming it, but like helping to deal with it, because like I don't believe there is enough help out there, and I believe the help that is out there is the wrong fucking help, and I don't think enough people talk about it. Like why is there a stigma about your mental health? I mean, I wake up every day and I'm fucking scared, right? I wake up every day and I'm insecure. I wake up every day, but you know what? Like, so does everybody. You tell me when you go 24 hours without feeling one little tiny bit of fear. Like, to deny that is to deny breathing, and it's only a coward that hides that. So you're a strong man if you actually come out and say it. If Tyson Fury can come out and say it, if like, even if you just tell your friend, tell somebody, and this is what I like about you, is that you straight away went exercising, took that high into the octagon with you, and so I want to know more about that, because like you went and got straight stuck in, and there's a story I heard one time that you were backstage and you didn't warm up for a fight. once. You just didn't like even warm up, and that to me just sounds fucking insane.
Yeah, I'm not sure who said that, but yeah, a few people like backstage would like vouch for that. Maybe that told you like a couple of times I didn't really warm up like hardly at all. Really, just a bit of shadow boxing, did a few spools, like a bit of stretching, like I was like good to go on a few of them. But I was just backstage, like I thought the worst that's gonna happen, like if you matched all right, you're gonna get a broken nose or like a snapped jaw. That's like worst case scenario. But even that might not even happen. And there's always a referee there as well. So if you get like getting ground and pounded, he's gonna jump in. It's not like if you're in like a toilet working the doors and someone's kicking your head, like a group of lads, there's no one there to stop it. Or if you're out in the Middle East, like if like the Taliban like capture you, like well, like you all know what's gonna happen there. It's gonna end like very badly.
Be no Habdeen.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. So it never really like it probably did me a favour, just like sort of like tamed it, but it was brilliant. So
how many MMA fights did you have in total?
Yeah, in total I had about I had the K1 fight, and then I had about like 20 like MMA like fights, like the full contact, because I had
because you didn't fuck around with like no amateur shit. You went straight like.
I never counted the I used to like going to the grappling tournaments and into clubs and things, but I never like counted that as a fight. It's just the only time I'd class it as a fight is if there's a crowd and there's a ref and there's like a camera there. That's like a bout. That's like a fight. But with the grappling tournaments and stuff, that was just more just like getting you ready, like for the fight. But I know I might repeat myself there, but exercise and MMA, like coming like straight from the stuff that happened in the Middle East, like it was just like all my energy was just channeled out, and I loved it. Like it was just like if anyone's struggling with mental health, like you
should repeat that a lot more.
Yeah, I'm still like training now, so I've always kicking about gyms. I love like fascinated by MMA and stuff. I love it. Like, and if anyone's struggling with mental health out there, like I can really give advice what happens to me, like different people, different things, but just exercise. Like even if you go for a walk around like on the woods, like I mean, just anything. Like exercise.
Look at me and you, right? You were a soldier in the war, yeah? I was a child in the war. And we're fucking still here, we're still talking, we're still laughing, right? We're living proof that you can go for hell and you can come back, you know? And that there's people out there now, do you know the worst thing that, you know, to me, the worst thing in the world, I think, to me is loneliness. And I'm fortunate enough to have, you know, I've got a beautiful mother. I've got a beautiful sister, you know, I've got 3 nieces, I've got a nephew. But like, I just think, you know, there's people out there that don't have that, and I just think if you are one of those people, man, and if you are listening, like you are the third person in this room, and just there's always somebody to talk to. Like people, some people are afraid to reach. Some people like are alpha. Some people, you know, have high jobs where they can't, you know, be seen as seeking help. Some people are, you know, have a reputation. Listen, who the fuck cares? Hold it in, and you can't hold it in because it will kill you. It's as simple as that. Like look at the suicide rates. Suicide rates have jumped by almost 200% since lockdown. You just think that's a fucking coincidence? That's killed more than Corona. So if anybody's listening to this, then like it's not just like don't. We're not saying a jog is gonna fucking cure you or help you, but we're saying it's a start. And I'm saying, you know, just speaking to a friend, texting somebody, texting the Samaritans. There's a lot of numbers out there. Just go and Google. Just what, and you know, I'll tell you a story. It's funny. It's just like, you know, it was after an overdose, right? In 2016, 26th of December, right? The next day, right? I called my ex-girlfriend up, the girl I was with at the time, and I says to her, like, me and you are done, we're finished. I says, you deserve better than this. I'm a junkie, you know, because I'd been popping pills for 7 years. You know, I was on maybe 10 to 15 diazepam per day, right, for 7 years. Dog, I was fucked up. I was a young kid, you know, like I was still like, what, at the time, fucking 25 years old. So and she says, no, I'm not leaving you. So I sat in my room, right, for fucking from the 27th of December to the 6th of February. I didn't leave my room. I left my room just to go walk around my garden, and my mum would help me out. and I'd be tapering down on tablets, right? But I'd be rattling, I'd be screaming, I'd be going through withdrawals, my stomach would be churning. She was by my side, don't get me wrong. But you know what? I found comfort, right, in like certain programs on television. And even now, when I'm having a bad day, I put those fucking programs on because I know they comfort me. So even if you don't have nothing sometimes, just put on something that comforts you. Like a song that you love, you know. Um, there's even if you're in a pitch black room, there's always that white light. You just have to find it. You know, like people think there's a cure for mental health. You have to fight it. Like nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save me because the problem's in our head. My problem's in my head. Your problem's in your head. So nobody can kick through my door and pull my problems out my head. Only I can.
You got to have a purpose in life.
You do. You have
That's what anyone's like listening. Just I used MMA as my outlet, but someone else can use. You can use absolutely anything like basketball, football, fishing, reading, like anything. You just got to go out there and get after it. Like
look, like I was fucking scared to do this, and you know when I lost my father, I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna die one day. So like, and if I make one person smile with this, I don't give a fuck about a million views. Like, I'm not making this podcast to have the guy with 200,000 followers on it to get celebrities. This podcast isn't my podcast. This podcast is for everybody that's been through bullshit. Everybody that's suffering. Yeah, I'll pull the guy in, the homeless guy off the street if he's got an interesting story. That's what this is about. This is for the fucking people. That's why it's going to the fucking top. And I promise you that. And that it's going to the top for the right reasons. And when it gets to the top, it's going to help the right people as well. And that was my purpose. But you have to find that part. You just have to think what makes you happy. And if what I found was, yeah, the things that I couldn't tell my friends that made me happy because I thought they'd laugh at me were the things that I should be doing. Because if people aren't laughing at you for your goals, they ain't big enough, bro. Like when I told people about a podcast, they laughed at me. Right, this is my second episode. Right, I'm still doing it. Do I give half a fuck? No.
No, I should go fuck. Anyone thinks about that
because this is my fucking podcast. You know, it sounds like so.
You have to own it.
Exactly. So like I don't give a fuck. Like I'm here every week, and sorry, it's been 3 weeks now. But like as of now, it will be every week. I'm here speaking to interesting people. I'm here speaking to friends. I'm here hanging out, and you know people are entertained by it. Whether it be one person, whether it be fucking a million, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, as long as it's positive.
Exactly. You know, and I'll talk about my negative past. The only reason being is because I fucking survived it. You know, and look, I'm nobody special, but if I can fucking do something like this, like who the fuck can't? You know? And this is the thing, like people wake up every day, right? They roll over. The first thing they do is look at their phone, right? Because most their alarm clocks on the phone, whatever, right? What the first thing they do? They scroll through Instagram. They see a model with 1 million followers. They already hate their fucking life. They already ruin their day subconsciously. So your subconscious mind is what 33,000 times stronger than your conscious mind. So that's you've looked at that, right? You scroll through that,
Just makes you insecure.
and you're like, it does. It makes you insecure. But the truth is, that person who's got 1 million followers is more insecure than you because they're insecure, but they're on a pedestal. Do you understand? So you just have to fucking downright admit it. Yeah, I've got wrinkles on my fucking forehead. I've got shit teeth. But like, you know what? Who the fuck cares? If you don't like people like me, you know, you got enough dough to go get your teeth done in Turkey. If the tax man's listening, that's not true. But like, if I change my appearance, if I change my fucking teeth, I'm no longer myself.
It's like what Roy Jones Jr. said, the great quote. Like, if they hated on Jesus, what chance have I got?
Exactly. Storms in Adele put out music, and you see in the comments, shit, scumbag. What am I supposed to expect? Fucking positive, all positive, when the biggest stars in the UK can't get it. Like, there's always going to be fucking people that don't like you, but see, people that hate, they don't hate you, they hate themselves. And then that 5 minutes of fucking fame, yeah, that they write in a comment, yeah, that gives them a satisfaction. But you know what? I've got time, and I love trolls. So if you're listening to this, then you're looking for someone to troll me, because I will ruin you. You don't stand a chance. But go back, going back to the topic of MMA. Um, what would you say was like the comparison between, obviously, well, besides like the obvious dangers, the comparison between, a combat in an army and combat in the cage, like what linked it together for you?
I suppose that, like they could be like similar. It's not obviously on that level, but it's sort of, it's like, say you get like addicted to like something, like, well, you need like an outlet, really, because obviously with the no drinking, smoking, no drugs, no gambling, no womenizing, yeah, all that sort of stuff that people like could get addicted to. I need to like find something for me to get addicted to. So that like was like just feeling that adrenaline, doing that, like it was all good. Plus I was like fascinated by all the fighters, like the skill level and how they out like smart each other, and it was brilliant.
Sorry, I'm going on to the fighters. Who's your favorite mixed martial arts fighter of all time?
Always had I used to absolutely like love Chael Sonnen, like back in the day, for his trash talking, and I loved Bisping because he had good heart. He was always getting stuck in, and I also I think like John Jones was the best like complete fighter. But one thing that personally I think doesn't get enough credit as well is like maybe like I like people like Greg Jackson, the people that sort of like mastermind it. Like they might not even be fighters themselves, but they can watch a fight and they can analyze it and they can be like, he's good at that, he's not good at that. Like that's the thing that fascinates me. Like it's more like coaching, like in
the tactical side of it.
Yeah, just all the tactical, like the, as they say, like styles makes fights. But yeah, someone like Greg Jackson, the Callisto, they're the people more interest me as well. Like I just love the whole.
So with more like that sounds strange, because like although you're a fighter, you're more interested in the coaching side of things.
Yeah, not yeah, just how they work out. When fights go on like fight camps, you can listen to like sort of like TJ Dillashaw's like fight camp, and then you can listen to Cody Garbrandt before they fight each other, and they do like things like differently. It's just like fascinating because no one's figured out. You can't figure out what's best for different people, what foods to have, weight cuts. Like everything's all different. Like, they're still trying to figure out. That's what's like fascinating about the fighters. Like best ways to train. Like some people might cut back the sparring, but spar for a few weeks before the fight. Another fight could spar right up to the fight. And
did you ever hear about how Max Holloway learned to strike?
I did actually on Joe Rogan podcast when he said about the on the games.
He's going as Aldo, and yeah, that's crazy, man.
That's unthinkable. You get some naturals in the sport as well.
Yeah,
like,
can I just say that, like, I'm just going to throw this out there. Gegard Mousasi is my favorite fighter.
Yeah,
and he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He's fucking beat Dan Henderson. He beat Mark Hunt while he was a middleweight. Mark Hunt was a heavyweight in Glory or Pride, whatever it was. Like his resume is fucking good, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves. And I've always liked him. Do you know what? How I found out about Gegard Mousasi?
How's that?
Somebody told me I look like him.
Yeah,
but I think he looks more like one of my mates. But when I watched his highlights, I was like, this guy's fucking good, man. And he just beat Machida in Bellator. He lost the belt. I think he was the world champ. I was there when he won the belt. I was there when he beat the Brazilian just before the time. No, I was there when he won the belt, and then he beat Rory McDonald badly. Like it was a horrific beating. But
could have been worse than what Robbie Lawler did to him.
That was a
war.
Do you know what? If I had a 3D TV, that blood would have spilt on me. But yeah, like there's a lot of great fighters, and
I like the freaks of nature as well. Like Francis Ngannou, like 2 years from walking into the training room, didn't do anything.
He didn't even know.
And then he 2 years later had been signed to the UFC, and he admitted on his podcast he didn't even understand all the rules. Then you got Deontay Wilder. He from stepping through a boxing ring, no background at all, never threw a punch down the gym in his life. A year and a half later, he wins a bronze medal in the Olympics. You just think like you get a couple of these like freaks of nature you think shouldn't even exist.
Well,
Like
look at Bernard Hopkins.
yeah, he kept going, didn't he?
No, like,
When he's older,
and learn how to box.
in prison.
Oh yeah, he got 17 years for armed robbery. And then when he was in prison to like learn how to box, and he become a world champion after the Joe Kawasaki fight, and carried on, and like he's another one that's just a freak of nature, man. Like there is a lot, man. I think there was a lot. I think there was a lot more back in the day because um, they kind of had to, because who was it that said? Was it Jack Dempsey that said the reason why I knocked my opponents out in the first round is because when you don't eat for 2 days, you'll understand.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more.
So he was a hungry fighter, literally.
Yeah, literally, like, and it's crazy. I remember, I actually like I took a bit of an interest in Jack Dempsey. He remember the first time he fought the Frenchman. The first time he fought a foreigner, he trained in Atlantic City because there was too many rats in his gym where he was at, and I think what was it? Was it the first time it broke some sort of record anyway, but yeah, it was he was an amazing fighter, man.
It might have been knocking down the opponent that many times in one round because it didn't used to have the 3-round knockdown back then. I think he knocked someone down like about 7 times in the space of one
I'm
round.
not Joe Rogan. I don't have a JME to check, so
Yeah.
we're just gonna have to go on what we've just said.
But I love the old school fighters. That's why I like boxing, like a good clean fight. Because obviously, when I was doing MMA, I was working on the doors, etc., to get some money like towards my training. But when it's like that's like a different kettle of fish with unfair fighting. Like when they'll just get like ring their cousin to come down and like weapons get involved and like people sideswipe you and all that sort of stuff. You think like, but stepping into an octagon, having a good like fair fight with someone evenly matched, like that's like what real men do. Like that's like quality. Like,
and you know what? I got to experience that. Once when I was a young kid, Dan took me to an interclub, over in Birmingham. I think it was K-Star. But the second time was an adult, and my coach, Dan wasn't involved in this one, but my coach was like, you need to try to come to training, man. I'm like, you can't train the heart, So I kept saying that, right? So I didn't turn up for training once, right? I did. I done 5 rounds on the pads, right? So the fights come, right? But I've been drinking for like fucking 2 days. Coach rings me, right? And he's not the sort of guy I wanted to piss off, right? So I'm like, he's like, you ready? I was like, I was born ready. So he picks me up, right? I'm sleeping all the way to Southend-on-Sea. It was for a good cause. It's for a good man that, died in prison, and it was to take the HMP to court. So I get there, and I'm at the weigh-ins, and I don't know who I'm fighting, right? Now, they just say, like, you're fighting this guy, right? And I'm like, whatever. Like, he looked like a small lad. I'm like, I must have at least 5-10 kilos, and I'm like, whatever. Like, and I'm still stinking of alcohol, man. So I'm having a face off with the guy, and the guy's like getting drunk on my breath. So we go back to the hotel. We get changed. We come back into the club, and I'm getting my hands wrapped. Right, and I'm drinking whiskey, and I was walking out yet, and because he was so popular and liked over there, I was like Mickey from fucking Snatch, right? I'm walking out here, people like everyone's booing me, and I get the ring, and I will never forget this, right? I go to touch close with the guy, man, and this kid's like a mini Anthony Joshua. They're like, he's got an 8-pack, and I swallowed a fucking snooker ball. But I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, we're here now, innit? So first round, as you know, it went all right. You know what I mean? It was fair. Second round, I was kind of winding down. He was hitting me with body shots because he was a lot smaller than me. And the third round, I was just in survival mode. I didn't drop. He didn't get stopped, but he was by far the superior fighter. And you know what? Like, we went backstage. He put his arm around me, and he was like, "Do you want a drink?" I was like, "Yeah." And that's what I mean. It was like, it was we fought. We were trying to kill each other, and then we went for a drink. But see that, but like see when I was in there, I don't know like if you ever noticed it, but I didn't notice anything else around me besides him.
Yeah, you got nothing else to concentrate on. You just got to
Like
concentrate on job in
literally,
hand.
like there was so many people there screaming, but like I had nothing. It was like a white noise. And then I staggered backstage and I said to my friend, I said to my friend Jamie, I said, I think there's something wrong with my head, bro. With an ice pack, and he was, I could have told that years ago. But so now I need to have 2 fights, so I can retire with a 2-1 record.
Yeah, got to retire on top.
Yeah, right now I'm at 0-1.
Yeah, it's good. Like when sometimes where you don't know who you're fighting, you just like because I remember being in a tournament once, and you just get like picked. Like I got drew against a guy from like Bulgaria, so you just got no choice, but you just got to go in there. You ain't got time to analyze them. Nothing. You just like straight in there. Like.
So did you ever like analyze your opponents like when you knew who you were fighting?
Yeah, you can do like sometimes when you get matched, like do like a proper fight camp. You see what they're all about, what they're good at, what they're not, and you just got to concentrate on like improving your game. But the only times I didn't do that was like obviously like in that tournament, you just get like drew like a different like sort of country, and then like you just go in there and just like do your best sort of thing. That's all you can do, isn't it? Like
that's awesome, man. So sticking on the MMA subject, I mean, like you've kind of told the world with that, haven't you? Like you've trained you trained in America, you've trained in Holland, you've trained in Thailand. Like what was America like for training? Because you trained with who did you train in America with?
I was at Vanderlei Silva's gym. They're just like great wrestlers, really. All the Americans. You have like 16-year-olds that can like suplex you and stuff. Like it's brilliant. They're like proper into that wrestling. And then Holland was more like striking, like based. Like I enjoyed it out there. I went to like 3 different gyms out there. Majero, like Boss Gym, and Mike's gym. And then when I was out in Thailand, I trained at like.
What was the R&R like?
Yeah, that was
in all 3 places.
Or Thailand was like good because a lot of time I trained in the morning. Like either if you're like Tiger Muay Thai or if you're Phuket
so
top team.
Did you train with Greg Jackson in?
No, I actually trained Greg Jackson once when I was in the UK.
I thought I was in Thailand. Sorry.
I thought you meant when Rogan was there. It was in Cross Pass.
Yeah, you were in the same street as Joe Rogan.
Well, yeah, he was in Chiang Mai, sort of see on Instagram at the same time, but our paths didn't cross. Like sometimes you see some of the big name fighters there, but like, you could be in the same rooms. Doesn't mean you directly like train with them.
Because didn't you dismiss Cody Garbrandt?
Yeah, I think he went out there and like the week after I'd left, and like when I was at like Phuket top team, you have like some like Cyborg or something just like hitting the pads like in the next room, and you get like some of the sort of big names and things out there. But the one that was most gutting is when I was actually Vanderlei Silva's gym in America. Like I missed the Diaz brothers by literally like a few days. That'd been devastating because I used to look up to them guys, man, because like they've got that attitude of like fuck it, like just fight anyone, and just like they just like love it, man. They're just sort of like
yeah, and like
they've got bigger balls than like anyone else on the fight card. They're just like
and they train so hard for everything, like triathlons. They're just their stamina is just insane. Like the cycling, like like it's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm just gutted, like that Nick Diaz never really came back. But do you know what I love though? I was watching an interview with Nick Diaz, and someone said to him like, how do you feel about like your brother achieving everything that you ever wanted to achieve? And he was like, happier than me achieving it because he's my fucking brother. And that just shows you like the morals of them two, man.
A real man's answer.
Yeah, man. So like when he called Masvidal out as well, like he's the only real gangster out here.
Yeah, I love Jorge Masvidal. I got a story. Do you remember when he had a backstage encounter with the lad, Leon Edwards? The guy, the close protection guy that actually like grabs Masvidal and brings it back in the conversation. He's a lad from London. I won't name him, but I know him personally. That lad sort of thing. But that happened like before. I've seen it when he mentioned it. It's like, if you look back on like YouTube, you can see it actually was him. I was like, oh yeah, like so. He was actually there when it happened at the. at that UFC event because he was fighting Darren Till that night, wasn't he?
Yeah. And what's crazy is like I remember watching back in the day, like downloading Kimbo Slice's videos of LimeWire, giving my computer fucking AIDS. But I remember like this, I didn't know at the time like it was him, and then watching back now, like you see him when like this little kid just come in and just box it, and it was him, Masvidal, and to see him like you got to think like he's just had a long career, and then he's only blew up recently as well. I think a lot of people are taking a McGregor blueprint now, and they're thinking, "Fuck this! I want my money." And I think that's why, like, personally, like, I think that's why Dana White keeps saying for Cowboy Cerrone to retire, because after he fought McGregor, now they got to give him mega bucks, and that guy will fight twice a week.
Yeah, these are all like your Masvidal Cowboys. They're like real fighters. They're not like bullies or anything. They'll just like do the fight in the octagon, and they just like stick to the word, like stick to the sport, like just respect people. They probably like hate bullies. Like Masvidal seems sort of like the person, if you're in a club and a couple of group of lads are bullying some other like helpless guy at the bar, he'd probably just go over and like fucking like stick up for them, sort of thing. Like that's sort of, they've got good morals, like some of these like fighters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I like to like that's what I like working on the doors of my hometown a lot of the time, because if you're working at the same like venue or the same area like all the time, like say like a group of young girls or whatever, like they're in there all the time for like say 6 months, you see them quite regularly, not like become friends with them.
Shouldn't be in there.
But I'm
joking.
I know, man. Yeah, you throw me off there. They're obviously old enough, but
if they're in there like regularly,
yeah, you sort of like not like you become friends with them, but you know that they're like good like kettle of fish. Like they're just there to dance, have a drink, like go home, because they've done it for like 6 months. And then if like some guys like creeping on more, they've like what's happened in the media like recently, the Sarah Everard like case sort of thing. So if I can like stop something like that happening, that'd be more satisfaction than like fighting people. They fucking like protect some like women, like especially the sound ones and stuff.
I think not just doormen and not just security people. I think all men should be doing that. Not hashtagging not all men. Like those are just fucking half facts to me. Like who are you hashtagging not all men do it? Shut the fuck up. Like if you're a good guy, you know you're a good guy. Like you don't need to fucking say not all men. Like I don't know whether like I'm fucking weird, but like I just know it's not right to do that to women, and I know it's right to protect women. So like you got to be a weird guy to fucking be against that. You got to be a fucked up individual to be against that movement. I fully support that.
That's why you feel on the doors. That's where you get the best job satisfaction, if you stop that sort of thing happening, or like the rapist, or just people that are drunk in the taxis. You make sure you get them home safe, because people just think like, oh, the fighting side, but that's only a very small percentage of what you can do. And
I just admire you, mate, because like you haven't got grey hair, and you've had to put up with me for 5-10 years on the doors now.
I had to put up with the whole town, but I just try and do like I try and use your brain to survive, because the loud ones don't last. And a lot of the times that I've had incidents in a negative thing about like defending yourself might not be my like my fault, or it just sort of like happens with like other people in the team. So because you get tarnished with the same brush, and say it's a weekend, if I'm just working a Saturday, but on Friday I'm taking some girl on a date night, like, and we're out in Birmingham for the night. On the Friday, I come back to work like on the Saturday night. You randomly just get into a big scrap and it all like kicks off. I'm like, I haven't got time to like explain to the people, because they're like, oh, you wankered like bouncers, you all battered my brother last night for no reason. And I haven't got a chance to go like, mate, I wasn't even here last night. Like, you mean so
you've been dragged into a fight that's got nothing to do with you, because you're working.
Yeah, that could happen. But anytime we've had confrontation, normally the day after, they sort of like know they're wrong. But I only just do like the best of my ability. Like, I'm not the hardest guy in the world, obviously. Like if I get jumped and if it's like, yeah, if you get like 10 people like jumping in the toilet, like you think like you're obviously going to lose your fight, because forget about the movies sort of thing. When you fight multiple people,
it might be with a women's toilet, bro.
But when you fight multiple people, it's a different ball game. If someone pulls a knife on you, like forget the movies, like you're going to lose. And if you just like, even if you just like take 2 of them out and then you wake up in hospital, you're like, oh, the other 8 just like battered me. And you think like, when you talk to the boss or anyone for that matter, he's like, I just did the best of my ability. I couldn't have done anything else. So there's quite a lot of situations you get in where you can't, you're not actually going to win the fight. You just got to do like your best and try and protect people the best you can.
Dog, I reckon you could do 3.
Oh, I don't know. Not an hour.
Maybe with a salt bath weight cut.
Yeah, but that's what it's all about.
That is what it's all about. It's I remember somebody, a good doorman, saying to me, the best weapon a doorman can have is his mouth.
Yeah, talk situations.
And I believe I've watched you, and you've always been very good at de-escalating situations as well.
With the de-escalating, working in your hometown can go for you and against you. But one thing I've used as a tool to go for me is can't beat local knowledge. An example could be if there's a couple that have been together for ages and this guy's like left her and just got with a new girlfriend like a week later, like quick.
Those are lies. I didn't do that.
It happens more in Corby than you think, this sort of stuff. You know more than anyone. And then they turn up in the club, literally like 5 minutes later, the ex and all her mates turn up. You just think, oh, this is just going to easily... Yeah. We're just going to like, you say we can't let you in. If you got here first, it's nothing personal. We just can't have both of you in there because it's just going to go off. Because some of the doormen downstairs are not from Corby, or if someone owed take money, or they had like problems before, like getting into like the bad, or any problems at all, family issues, anything, they could just be like, oh, I was just standing there, and then the bar, and it just went off out of nowhere. But they didn't realise because without time, there's a backstory. Like they've got like trouble from before. Like as soon as they go and like, it's just going to go down as soon as they see each other. Yeah, I think that's why I've got a theory on Corby, because I learnt this in Rushden. I thought back to the Corby as well, because Rushden only had one club as well. It's called like Feathers, and it went Fate. But because it's got one club, if
what's it called, Feathers?
I don't know. They've got a couple. It's burnt down now anyway. But I forgot a couple of pubs, and a couple of groups of guys have a conversation early in the night. When they see each other later, like a few beers later and a few lines later, it's just going to go off again because they're definitely going to bump into each other. And with the ex-partners, because domestics kick off like loads of trouble. Most of the trouble is because of domestics,
that's like relationships. That's why I'm single, bro.
So if you're on a night out in Birmingham down like Broad Street, and your ex-missus on night out, there's a good chance you won't not even going to bump into her. But in Corby or Rushden, these sort of places that you work doors, they're definitely sooner or later going to bump into each other. You can't avoid it.
Yeah, it's inevitable, and I agree with that. The amount of people I've called that fucking owe me money in Storm, like, and you have to respect my perspective here. Yeah. Like those motherfuckers, when I hear like someone spending my money that they owe me, and they're probably wearing a fucking jacket that they stole out my house when I was partying, like, and I know they're in there, I'm fucking going in there, bro. Yeah. But that's what makes me understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, you got to be like tactical, like think about the situation, and then just go off what they do. Like you can't just go to like 0 to 100. Like if someone's having like a shouting match where you just like, so it doesn't really bother you. But and if someone whips out like a weapon, obviously it's like you just like you got to meet them with like force or whatever. But some people will just if they be like a bit undisciplined and can't control their uncontrolled aggression, they'll like someone could just call them a name and then you have just like attacking them. You think like that's not what they were doing. You have to just go off the threat level of what they're doing like towards you. So a lot of the time you can talk people out. To be fair, if you get the gift of the gab, you're like you can't beat it really.
Yeah, no, that's true. Especially, and that I think that's why you get a lot of respect as well from people.
Yeah, because I don't like bullies myself. I'd rather like stop the bullies than be the bully. So
I mean, I don't apologize to a lot of people, but I've apologized to you. I've never like been violent towards you, but I've been an asshole in many situations. And
I think everyone has.
And you know what? Like, I'm kind of glad you got to see it from a sober perspective, because it must have been pretty entertaining at the time.
I could do a whole podcast on funny things I've seen on the doors.
Even though you had a job to do, like, if I have a blackout, you must have been thinking this is quite funny. But like, so going on that, yeah, like, you must have seen some funny shit on the doc. Tell us some fucking stories that you've seen.
Oh,
some funny stories you've seen. Like,
it's like name drop. I did.
We don't need to name drop though.
Worked in like Corby, Kettering, Wellingborough,
just call them
Rushden,
BKS. Yeah,
just all of them. Yeah, you just see it all like fucking shagging in the toilets to weird fights, like doorman fighting, like getting the trousers ripped off.
I've done that once in I've done it once in Kettering, right? I had sex in a male cubicle,
Yeah.
and the guy.
What was his name?
Ryan.
Oh, who got silence for once?
Ryan B. And the guy accused me of stealing a handbag.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, why the fuck would I steal your handbag?
Sometimes when people are on it, they what they think happens and what reality is completely different.
Like I've just bought you drinks all night. Like, why would I steal your handbag? You need to be stealing mine. You need to be stealing my wallet. But yeah. So like, I've seen some crazy shit in the toilet. So you must have seen some crazy shit like everywhere you work, man. Like, where's the like? Where would you say is like the craziest, strangest place you work outside of Kobe?
Strangers.
Nothing gets weirder than Kobe, but like,
What, for like violence or just for weird antics?
just for like, I don't know.
There's a place in called Cheers Bar in Rushden that always like ended up like, not that I work there like very often, but I've got friends that work there a lot and popped in like
by the way,
sometimes.
if these places are still open, we apologise.
Yeah, that always seemed to bring in some like random characters. But
yeah, let me see if these voice things actually, like, clips actually work. 2 seconds, audience. I can hear that. Maybe they'll hear it. So
but it opened. But the doors was fantastic for the most important thing in the private security industry, which is a thing called networking. And the more people you get to meet, the more doors it can open, and you can literally network across the whole country, and you can meet all different types of people. But most of my good contacts were from the ex-military, because when sort of like about 2012, 2011, 2012, like everyone was jumping on the Iraq close protection circuit, because we were getting paid like for being on tour the same as what you could earn like in a month if you did like sort of similar sort of job, but privately. They were offering that. It's not as much now, but at the peak in the Iraq, they were offering, like, some people were generally earning like £13,000 a month, like tax free, and like pay for flights, pay for your food, like accommodation, everything. So a lot of the good soldiers or people that had something about them like went and did that and ended up having like a really good career. And once they submit that for a few years, that's how, like, by a good word of mouth, they ended up getting me on a couple of jobs, which opened my gateway into close protection, because it wasn't something I had in mind. It just sort of fell into place, because with my dog, my family, just people in general, when you need to start earning money, transferring your skills over to civilian street, like, you can't go job interview. A lot of stuff you get taught is hard, that doesn't come into normal life. So used my brain and like sort of went into something where the skills that I'd learned over the years, I could use it into a positive good, and my abilities into something like that. So that's how I got into the close protection circuit.
So like, how long? Obviously, when you come back and you started working doors, how long were you on the doors for before you started the close protection?
And I don't know. I got onto the doors like randomly. I was a short one night. One of the guys in the boxing team that I was in the military with just asked me to like fill in one night, and then I did it, and then thought like, oh, this is alright, and then it just become habit, and then just never did it. I thought, because obviously on the Friday and Saturday night when the lads are going out being wild or whatever doing, like, I was obviously like sober, and I thought it, like, for keep me on the straight and narrow from a fight career, like, it was quite good, because then the temptation of going out and partying, not like I was mad on it either, but it kept you like away from it. And then I've met some like brilliant friends on the doors. I'm still friends now, and it just the networking was good. And I don't know why, not in an arrogant way, but sometimes when I was working in Corby doors, I didn't even, if I was doing it right for like money, I didn't actually really need to do it. I just sort of like the thought of like some people like that I like getting bullied, or some of the girls getting raped, or just got a bit like too. I always thought like, if I'm there, like, at least I can look out. That's why I started working in Corby all the time, because.
Respect.
Yeah, just like sort of like trying to look out for your own, but I don't need respect off anyone. But I enjoyed it, because to be fair, the banter in Corby, when you work other places, you don't realise how good even the girls in Corby, you can't get any better banter. There's loads of brilliant girls in Corby that I've worked all over the place. I've got the best banter ever.
Corby is the greatest country in the world. I'm telling you now, like Corby ain't like nothing else. Like, you know. Where else can you fucking bring a bottle of your own booze, yeah, in England on New Year's Day and fuck New Year's Eve off? Like, you're actually pissed off with the fireworks because you're waiting for the next day to get steaming all day in a pub. Like, Corby is a country. Corby to me is a country. Kobe's a country of its own. You know, like even if you don't fucking like someone, yeah, and they were again attacked or something out of town, you'd help them because they're from Kobe. But when you go back from Kobe, we might fight amongst ourselves, but when it comes to the likes of Carl Hughes, the fucking to me is an inspiration, man. And when it comes to the likes of that, like look how people combine, man.
Yeah, when the chips are down, like that's a great example of Carl Hughes. The town all like gets together and just all help each other out, sort of thing, in the time of need.
I remember I moved into number 9 Sutherland Road on the 20. No, I come to Britain on the 20th of July, my dad's birthday in 1999. I was at Stansted Airport, right? I got taken into a room, fingerprinted. They kept me there fucking for ages, man. Like, they didn't even give me no sweets or nothing. And then I left. And then I got in the back of a van, right? I didn't know where I was going. Like 2 hours in the back of this fucking van. It's like by this time it's like fucking I don't know 12 o'clock at night. Yeah, doors open. I'm on fucking Shetland Way. Right, so we walk in. We walk up into Seven Walk, and this is how I met my best friend, my idol. I love him to pieces. We walk into his house, and me and my sister walk upstairs, and we get into bed, right, and that's when it hits us, like, and we just both start crying, and my friend now, my brother, he walks in and he sees me crying, right, and he just lies down next to me and starts crying, and we're bonded since then. But like, the reason I'm telling that story is because then I moved into 9 Sutherland Road about 3 weeks later. We actually got a council house, and we had nothing. And about, I don't know, maybe half an hour later, right, my fucking door knocks. Now, Mum was like, what the fuck? So she opens it, right? It's a lady with plates. Half an hour later, door knocks again. Cutlery, blankets, right? These people didn't know us. We were foreigners to them. And they still helped us. And this is what I'm saying. Like, I've never had the welcome that I've had like in Corby anywhere else. I've never had the banter. I've never had. I think the banter, yeah, comes more from like the Scottish side mixing with the English side, and I think it's. I think it's in some place. Look, from personal fucking experience, I've been slapped for using Corby banters elsewhere by girls. I've been fucking, I've been attacked for using Corby banter in Mali on holiday. You know, but who gives a fuck? If I find something funny, I'll say it. I don't fear the consequences. But that's what I love about Corby. It's a great town, and when we were speaking about Dan, like he said something about you that I will never forget. He said, Barbie will just fight anyone at any time. And I think coming from somebody like that is quite a big compliment, man. But yeah, fucking Corby, strange place, man, and it's produced some characters. I mean, look at yourself. You've travelled to Africa, to Afghanistan. Like you've put your life on the line. You've been in the octagon. You're basically raised in a boxing ring, like, and you've come out the other end protecting people in your hometown. So it's like you've done a full circle, yeah, of risking your whole life. You've risked your life, even in the octagon. Like your whole life, you've risked your life, and you come back, and now you're saving people. That to me, it describes Corby in a nutshell. You understand? So
Yeah, it's all positive
it's
stuff.
very interesting. So, going to the close protection, right? I heard that you ended up in Marbella.
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of people over the UK and lots of, without name dropping, quite a lot of big names throughout the
You
UK.
can name drop.
Yeah, and then it was actually one of the companies I worked with was out in Marbella. They had a client out there, but I wasn't so much like working. I was just in and about. And then a drunken night out, like at one of the premieres for the film, like the night before, ended up being very beneficial. Like they ended up.
Who was it with?
Oh yeah, we had all the like characters, like fucking like your Dapper and like Nick Nevin and
Dapper Laughs and Nick
Yeah,
Nevin, to me are legends.
yeah, they're just like off the rails.
And very, very, Nick Nevin's very close with one of my friends, J&B. Shout out to J&B, by the way.
Yeah, they always all there. Like a few was there, like Tom Zanetti and his missus, and like, all the people, the whole cast of the film was there. And when I was there, you got to meet a lot of people that people don't know, like not so much of the actors and stuff. They was all there, obviously,
like
but
behind the scenes kind of.
Yeah, the people, just the directors and people that do that sort of stuff. And then one thing that led to the next, and when we was on the front at Port Banús, they sort of said, oh yeah, like they were on it, man. Like they were proper on it. Like even compared to people in Corby, these were like going like hard, like they were party animals. And then they sort of said, oh, the next one will like just throw you in, sort of thing, get like a bit part. I was like, oh yeah, like sound. I thought just saying it to be nice. And then I didn't think they'd even remember this conversation fucking in the morning, let alone a year and a half later when I got the fucking email.
Was it a year and a half after?
Yeah, and they got it in, and I just played this like small part, like, but as a football.
What was it like filming, like?
Yeah, it was cool. We did like a few scenes in the nightclub and a few scenes at the football stadium, but it got edited, like, so it's not out yet. So we don't know how much it's going to be of it. But we get into a bit of a tussle and a bit of a tear up at the football stadium, and then in the nightclub.
You're even fighting in fucking films.
Yeah, they just put me as a football hooligan.
Is there anywhere else is there anywhere you're not fighting?
I don't know, just violence attracts me, sort of thing, I suppose. But I'm a nice guy. I don't even know why. But yeah,
do you know what? I was actually shared a similar experience. I was actually in a film with Dapper. So
yeah,
you're in a film with Nick. I was in a film with Dapper.
He was in a prison cell though. Exactly
right. But you know what? It was an accident. Because what happened was, right. My friend had a part to play, right, and he was like, "Come with me," like it was in Portsmouth, right? It was a film called Fanged Up.
Fanged Up, yeah.
Right, and it was being filmed in a prison now. My mate was like, "Look, we'll go there. We'll chill out for the night, and we'll get our heads down because we've got to be up for 8:00." So we get there. He's like, "Go get me a sandwich from Tesco." I go get the fucking sandwich back. I wanna fucking on it. Like I wanted to go on it, right? Because I was in Portsmouth. Like, looked, all the lights were fucking shining. I seen students. I was thinking, I was like I was wagging my tail. So I've come back with a sandwich and a bottle of vodka and a bottle of lemonade. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "We'll just have a 1 shot, 2 shot." Next thing you know, right, it's 3 a.m, right?
Fly to a light.
Right, we're in this fucking strip club, yeah. And I swear to you, right, the carpet, right, it looks like, them like antique fucking wallpapers you used to get in like old council houses, right? That was the carpet of a strip club. So you can imagine what strip club we were in, right? And we're in there just drinking, and we look at the time and it's like 7, 8 in the morning, right? I'm like to him, "Oh, you got filming at 8." So we turn up here to the prison. We turn up to jail fucking wrecked. Like we're off our bonnets, right? And they're like, his name's on the list. He's my +1, so they let us in. And so we walk in, and Dapper looks at us like, "Fucking paramedics." And out of nowhere, I get a tracksuit thrown at me, like as an extra. So I'm like, I'm sitting and I'm wired.
Yeah.
I'm fucked from the night before.
Straight in there.
So I went straight to my prison cell and just done a quick bump, woke myself up.
That's how things happen in the film industry. Just the right place, right time.
And I've come back and I've done the scene, but I was so fucked up. Yeah, I've ate the fake prison food. I didn't know it was fake. I didn't know fake food existed. So I'm eating this fucking fake food. And Dapper's like, "What are you doing? It's fucking fake food, bro." I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, man." So I don't know if you're going to see me in the film or not. Like, they'll probably cut that thing out. They'll just see me just pouring a plate of fake peas down my fucking throat. But yeah, it was a weird experience. I've still got a tracksuit though.
That's cool. At least you had a good experience.
It was awesome, man.
That's what life's all about.
Yeah, the drive home was terrific. But shout out to J&B for that, man. Like, we've been through some adventures. I'm sure people are going to hear about that in the near future. But so what's next then for Ryan Barby? Because you're a fucking thrill seeker. You're not scared to jump out planes. What can get those endorphin and adrenaline levels up, man?
That's when you got to like feed that drug. You got to always push yourself to the edge. You got to like keep going. With before the coronavirus, I was doing on the close section circuit doing alright, but it did like a standstill. Obviously, like festivals all stopped, and there's a few like obviously the flights like to work in some contracts like abroad, like you got like in Africa or anywhere really. Like it sort of put a damper on a lot of things, but just keep improving with a close protection circuit, get better, because I ain't learned it all yet. I'm getting better every day at it, and just get head in the books and get tactically great. Because what I love about it, because you can always improve, is outsmarting people in the tactical side of it. Because anyone can get up to 20 stone, take steroids, lift some weights, and look the part, and then if someone gets near, just palm. But
I can't. I try. I got to 15.
But the fact of like if you go into the venue or anywhere for that matter, like moving them from A to B, it doesn't matter who it is. You got out. The public might think like just because you come in one door, like you go out like a different door. They think you go out there, so they're getting all the Snapchats ready or whatever, and then you just dart out the other way, just out. The whole security.
That's pretty shady though.
Yeah, you're outsmarting them where the cameras are.
If I'm waiting to fucking see Ollie Myers and you're taking him out the back door, like that's just out of order, mate.
Oh, he's a great one to work with. Ollie Moses, actually, he's one of the best. But yeah, having a good team round is obviously like Adam McShoney is good as your weakest link.
So
then the team that go out that do like could go to the venue like the day before and then take all the pictures, like find out the layouts of the area. So I think a lot of work goes into it. It goes on for hours, but that's the sort of stuff I like. I like the technical side of stuff.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like a lot, people don't see it like that. People just see like a fucking big guy protecting. Like they don't see that you got to do all these things. So, have you ever been undercover?
Yeah, well, my favourite job I ever probably did in the private security industry, like in the UK, was when I was working. I can't say too much up, but like with the WWE, because the company was with that was like their like little golden goose. They love it, but they were flying in from location X in that country, and then they were like landing at airport Z in the UK. So we had to be like airport Z, and if we turned up like suit and boot, like some of us do with the glasses, like looking like the typical, like the big, the team, because some of the people work with might like look the part as well.
Here comes the man in black.
Yeah, people just like look and go, oh fucking hell, like who's coming out that terminal a minute, like just draws attention to yourself. So I just like got a coffee. We're just dressed in like sort of normal attire, and like just casuals.
What were you wearing?
I was like still like my black like trousers on sort of thing. I just had like a t-shirt on, like my trainers, and like just like some like black jeans on, and
no sunglasses or mustache.
Nah, no sunglasses, no mustache, none of that. And when they came out of the terminal, we had to like quickly get them outside. There was two coaches waiting, coach A and B, to get them on there, because the whole like teams there, the whole entourage, like all the wrestlers, the referees, commentators, like everyone, all people behind the scenes, everyone. So you got to get them in, and we took them to a hotel which they stay in for about 2 hours. And securities are they're just on that level, so no like public can get in, etc. And after that 2 hours, they go up to the show, which was held in Sheffield Arena. That one was. So just being part of that was sort of like what I liked, Joe. Like sort of like behind, like just like outsmarting. It was like
that James Bond.
He got that sort of like vibe. That was one of the ones.
Not many people get to experience that, especially get paid for it. So that's fucking cool, man. Especially with the WWE, man. I grew up on that,
Yeah, I didn't know too many wrestlers like nowadays, but if it was back in,
because you're a fossil.
I'm a fossil. But it was back in the day with like the Mick Foley, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, and Undertaker. I would have known who they all are, but I wasn't too familiar. The only one I really recognised from the old era was Devon Dudley. But
yes.
But what one of
tables?
one of the commentators actually like left his phone on the bus, so we had to take him back down the elevator and like get back out and get it for him. Luckily it was like still there, and then we got him back in, so that was only one that really caused an issue. But the rest of the operation ran quite smooth, because you can get them into the bus before people start really noticing, and it's like sort of like a couple of people are like, oh, who's that, and it's like too late really, and then your job's done. But the worst thing is if they get tip-offs where like in any event when they know a certain person's going to be there, because it's like if they're in a venue like Nando's, or it just blows up straight on social media, and like suddenly you got Gallo before everyone like sort of starts
Yeah,
standing
you
up.
get like these mad fucking stands, like
It all depends
they're-
on
they're
who
fucking-
the principal is and who you're working, because
like, you get these mad people that like research and fucking, you know, like the crazy fanatics as well.
yeah.
Um,
But they've it all depends on the because you've got like quite a big team that does it all, but it all depends on the principal, like what the person, the client, like what he's or she's like sort of doing. Because if they're like cooperative and good, and just got, I'm going to there for lunch, and then I'm going there, and that's it, or I'm going to this studio for the radio, then I've got an interview here on like, ITV, and then I'm off. Like, and it was like quite smooth, like it can be if they're like, but ones that are like fussy, or it could just go like different. It depends what the crowd does. And there's a lot of, you have to do like
has there ever been like
on the move, got to
a
think.
situation where you've been tactical and you went B to avoid A, but you went wrong? And
Yeah,
then
like
you ran into the crowd.
yeah. So, also, we always have like 3 different like routes, like A, B, and C. Of something like, because anything could happen like out of your hands. Like even if a car breaks down or anything, you always have like actions on like for absolutely everything. No stone gets left unturned. That's what I love about it. And like sometimes, like, well, a lot of time it's not going to go to plan, so you just have to like think on your feet. Like if the events party like go forward to a venue, but they can't get there in time because it happens, all the principal changes their mind of what location they're going to, or if they're tour manager, because they're the ones that like call a lot of shots, like, oh, you have to be in an interview like at this time, like we need to like leave here and like, we need to get there now, and like yeah, it's always on the go. You just do like dynamic risk assessment, like you're always like thinking like on the move, so you sort of do get a buzz out about it. But yeah, like standing there with the big muscles, nothing. Like obviously, I'm not a big guy either, so I've probably been forced into the tactical. But that's
a bit of surprise now.
Yeah, but that's the stuff that like I enjoyed. Just the whole like tactical side, the doors, or like even in the military, like just thinking in your brain. Like probably in MMA as well. Like everything's just all the tactics just fascinate me. I love the tactics rather than just going in there like a bully and just like smashing people for no reason. Or it's just, yeah, the thinking game's like fascinating. You can never get good at it. Like you can always get better. So it's a never-ending cycle. It's actually outlet. You're always looking to improve.
So it's a great purpose because every day you can learn.
Yeah, you can learn. Like read. Like it's just like every time you do it, you get better.
So is that the new buzz?
Yeah, it never gets easier. You just get better at it.
Yeah.
And you always trust your gut instinct as well. And in any incident, if anyone's listening that wants to get into work, the best advice is that I always got taught was always trust your gut, and when you act on it, because to make the wrong decisions bad, but the worst thing you can do is do nothing. So if you suspect someone or anything's not where it should be or something, if you don't act on it and then something does happen, like you fucked it really. But if you did act on it, you made a mistake, like, oh no, like I got that wrong, but like it is what it is.
So
You just crack on.
At least you used your, at least you used your instincts to.
You
try
gotta
something.
you just have you got to have balls. You got to have
And
the bottle to go with it.
One experience where I seen that, it was fucking, it was disgusting, right? Was in America, right? I was in America with Christian, man, God rest his soul, and my friend, my good friend Ben, shout out Ben, and we were fucking walking into the gates, right? And these Asian lads, they're from England, English accents, and they just said, "You're not getting in." And they're like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "You're just not getting in," just because they were Asian. Like, they got no reason. They're like, "We are not terrorists." Like, we're not getting in. I was like, wow. Now that's an example of the wrong action being the wrong action. Like that's just fucking wrong in every moral code. I think we're running out of battery here. On the visuals, by the way. But what was I going to say to you? So what? Yeah, check it out. Look at his beautiful face.
Nice boat. Who would be your favourite person that me or a company potentially could work with that would interest you? Eminem, I guess. I'd guess for yourself, or is that off track?
Do you know what? Like, I believe it would be Eminem. Do you know why? Because he's so mysterious, and how he.
Oh, so I guessed it right then.
Well, of course, like
Yeah, there you go.
I grew up on Eminem. Eminem taught me how to swear in English on the Marshall Mathers 2 cassette. But I would just love to know, like, like what he's like because he's so mysterious. You know, when he plays like say like Reading and Leeds, the BBC Three have to cut it off.
Yeah.
They don't have the license for Eminem. It's so crazy. Like so, he's such a mysterious guy. For a guy that's so out there in his music, his private life is so fucking private. And I'd like to know this. Not to invade his privacy, but just if he is, like I imagine it to be.
Yeah, I bet he is.
I'm gonna fire it back at you. Who would your client be and why?
My ultimate client,
dead or alive, now or before, whenever.
In their prime, it's got to be Michael Jordan for two reasons. Obviously, fascinating human being, great sport athlete, and just inspiration.
Awesome trainers.
Yeah, he's just like he's a don, isn't he? And the second reason is to really like put myself out my comfort zone, because when he was in his prime, if he left the fucking hotel room, like you're just gonna get swarmed everywhere you go. He was like an icon when so it would be it'll be very, very challenging, and then it would like be like me to like I'd be up against it, and everything I've ever learned I'd have to put 100% in, and that's what I want to like feel that pressure like and push myself, because that would be one hell of a task. So I'd go with Michael Jordan. That's just quick fire just off the top of my head. Maybe if I thought about it long and hard I could think of some other people, but so just off the top of my head, like Michael Jordan gets it.
So essentially, like, you want to keep pushing and pushing on a tactical side, and just pushing yourself to your limits, and just keep elevating and growing in the close protection industry, and working with bigger clients that are harder, and just working on your tactical side. So are you saying that's what's next for?
Well, the money's in the royalty. To be fair, all the princes and the Saudis and all the families have got the oil, so that would benefit me where I can create
you just can't help going back to the Middle East, can you?
Oh, it's because it's the most dangerous. You got to get out there and get amongst it. But work with some cracker people in the UK and like some big names, etc. But one thing I had as well, because I've got this natural thing where I treat everyone the same, so I never got like starstruck or like start like kissing any of their asses. So like I was there to like do the job and then just cracked on. I think that's one of my positive things. So, but I still want to build on that. Like, yeah, just get the skill set, just get better at it. I want carry on doing the MMA and martial arts in general. Like, even if I hit my 40s or 50s, I can't. My body gives up and I can't compete. I still want to be in and around the sport. Like, just even hitting the bag for a bit. Just I'll be doing it to the day I die. Like, just like always. Even if I'm in a wheelchair, I'd probably just go down and just watch some jiu-jitsu. Like I like just being in that gym. I like that environment.
I'll push you down Rocky Hill and we could just join.
Yeah. But I like mixing with them type of people as well. Do like a true martial artist is a good person to be around.
So going back to the topic of martial arts, like obviously you've met some great martial artists. I mean, and you've trained with some great martial artists. Like, who would you say is the most iconic martial artist that you've trained with?
I had the honour, I think, of training once with Hoist Gracie. He was like the original UFC champion. Everyone knows he's like the godfather of MMA, really. So you can't really top that. I drove him some good fights. Also, I've met.
And who would you say is the best fighter or coach that you train with? Like, not in Kobe or your training team, but I mean like when you're training abroad.
Yeah, well, I had a chance to train at one time with like Greg Jackson. That was like mind blowing. Like, he's got his philosophies, and even it was just that one night, like one day, but it just opens up to your mind how like high level like these people are. Like fight game, people might like watch it on telly, think it's barbaric, but the amount of skill that goes into it, if you want to like get to like a decent level, like
I reckon it's Barby Eric personally, but.
Yeah, but it's just So Greg Jackson as a coach, obviously, because he produced all like the great fight like John Joe. Well, then the list goes endless how he's trained. But so for coach Greg Jackson and for fighter for the icon and the kudos and status like Hoist Gracie, that's it's pretty cool little tick.
You can't top that. That is like the Michael Jordan of martial arts.
Yeah, but that wasn't like a regular thing. That was like the one day like thing anyway. Again, it wasn't like it was like best mates from training with him, but
Well, you know, just in your WhatsApp group.
Nah, just like, I mean, just a lot of these things like some. But when you meet them,
but at the end of the day, like, you still had the honor.
Yeah, met like
That's
the
a big
GOAT of
thing.
boxing, like your Mayweathers and like people I come across, and yeah, it's good to meet these sort of fighters, because with the musicians and actors that I work with in close protection, I'm not really like as like bothered about like asking them questions. 'Cause I'm not interested. I'd be more interested into like meet like fighters sort of thing. Like when bumped into like Randy Couture once, and just like people. I'm interested in fighters rather than that. Probably makes me better at my job as well, because I'm not the musicians and actors and them sort of thing. They don't really like tick my boxes. I'm not as bothered about them.
Yeah, but do you think that that helps you a little bit more because it keeps you professional?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Because
so because I'm
maybe
not bothered
if
about
you're
yeah.
working with like Chael Sonnen, like
Yeah.
you'd be sitting there protected, but you want to ask him questions, maybe like.
Or if I was working backstage for a UFC event, I'd be like always trying to watch the fights. Or if it was boxing, like if I was working like AJ versus Fury, if that ever happens, I wouldn't be able to help but like watch the ring. Like so,
Yeah, you could be able to help watching Fury
that fight.
stop him.
Yeah, so like that's what I mean. But with a lot of, because even music, I don't really listen to much music. I'm not really bothered about it, and like films and TV.
What's
I don't really.
What's your favorite song?
I don't know. I have to go with like Oasis, like Live
Live
Forever.
Forever.
I nearly worked with Liam Gallagher once. To be fair, when I got a call, I was on the I was on a firearms course, so it was like the one that I missed. But the team like sort of joked, because they said the only one you'd probably ever be bothered with is like Liam Gallagher, because he quite likes Liam Gallagher. It's the one time where I couldn't miss, and off the top of my head, I think it is the only one that I missed as well. I couldn't get out of it. What I was at the course of the thing that I was doing, but a lot of the other ones that I work with, like not as bothered, but obviously there's some big names there, so it's it gets like it's good to have on your CV.
Yeah,
And
I've seen some massive names on your CV, man. Like,
anyone you personally like, or
well, obviously number one's got to be Stormzy and BBK. Come on, Ollie Maz, Liam Payne, Rita Ora. Young Blood's like he's growing on me, right? But like I've not really listened to enough of him. But yeah, like you work with some big names, man.
yeah, he's cool. He is, yeah.
I mean, have you ever like I've already what the fuck am I talking about? I've already asked you a question. Like I'm gonna say, have you ever been swarmed by the crowd where you haven't been able to escape from Plan B, but you've got Plan C?
Yeah, you're always one step ahead.
Yeah, do you know what? And
But it does happen sometimes. You just got to be ready for anything. So one thing that gets overlooked as well is like to get your medical skills up.
Get his fucking headphones off, man.
Yeah, to get your medical skills up. I'm always trying to learn like the first aid and for any incidents like that. But you can never do enough first aid. I think a lot of people in life don't really do it. But if you want to be a good close protection operative, like no matter where you're working in the world, like first aid's like invaluable, really.
Yeah, because like if you don't know first aid and you have a client, let's say like it doesn't matter who it is actually, but you have a client that's hurt, like, and you could have done a course to prevent that.
Yeah,
it's yeah.
And route planning as well, that's a skill in itself. So a lot of like stuff that people don't think that like goes into it, that could be more important than.
Do you find that also comes from your military background? Though,
yeah, a lot of the skills are like transferable. That's what I said earlier in the podcast when I was thinking, what can I do from what I've learned that I can use in a positive effect, like benefit like my family, get some money. Like a lot of the stuff that I've done throughout my life sort of pushed me into the close protection like circuit, really, with the military and the martial arts and just that way of life and stuff, and the mindset, like sort of like even working the doors, everything sort of all like come together, really, like sort of like all the dots lined up together, and my skill set just got every year just got better and better, and I just tried to get good at everything, really. Like, so I see your map reading, your first aid, like your close quarter combats, like dealing weapons, anti-terrorist attacks, like do's and don'ts, and there's loads. Like it goes, it's endless. Like I'm still beginning myself. I've still got a long way to go myself. Like,
so do you feel like this is a completely new chapter then, like of just educating yourself again, like
always improving,
rejoining another chapter where you're actually putting yourself in those same kind of situations, and you're learning again, like you did with the military, like you did with the mixed martial arts, like you did with the boxing, and now with this, every day you're learning, every day is a school day, and this is your new buzz.
Yeah, like Kim could put it better myself, and then all the skills that I've learned like leading up to it was all sort of like come down to it, and then that's my best chance of sort of like gonna earn more money like doing it than things I've did in the past. So, like sometimes when you think like fine, I've been doing it for years, it's not really paying off, or you spent all them years in the military, you did this, you did that, like, it's not paying off. But like I think like now for the first time in life, like just before the coronavirus, like I think fucking hell, like everything like started to like sort of like coming together. It started like for the first time like benefit from a lot of stuff, because growing up as a teenager and when I joined, a lot of the stuff was like hard work that I was doing. I was putting a lot of effort in, but not really getting much out of it. Like I mean, especially like financially and stuff. But obviously, I wasn't really part of that like game. I was more like just in it for myself to like prove to myself that you can do stuff. But now, as you get older, like you think, oh yeah, I need to start like paying the bills now. Like start using my head for how the fuck can I get some money to pay for my future kids to go to university? So I think what you're good at, what you're not, and thought, yeah, close protection just like fitted all the boxes. I thought, right, fuck it, like it or not, like you're going to do that because that's the only thing you can really excel at, where you can get some money for your future kids to put into university, because you ain't going to make like money like doing like door work or like a lot of other stuff I did. As much as I loved it, like yeah, just started like using my head.
So like essentially, like it's not only a new chapter of your life, it's also it's also something that's going to benefit like your family massively as well in the future. So now we have does that give you an extra purpose then?
Yeah, because if I could take a magic pill that could turn me 18, my body 18, I'll take it like right now, and then I'll start like fighting every single day, like get back into it and back in the military and
I've got
doing
some magic
that.
pills, but it won't make you 18.
But yeah, but reality is like click your fingers before you know it, you're gonna be in your mid-40s and think, fuck man, I can't. My back's ruined. I've had injuries to both my knees, my shoulder. Like think like, holy fuck man, what are you gonna do? Like you can't like carry and roll around on the floor with like these young lads for the rest of your life. So as much as I want to do it, and it's a bitter pill to swallow, like fucking, I've like just had to look into the future and think like, fucking hell, bars man, you need to like fucking.
You know what you're doing now is it's a fresh chapter and you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I do enjoy it.
Above all, like it's gonna make you, like you say, like financially secure, and it's gonna tick all the boxes that you need in your life.
And the main box that needs ticking is that like that buzz sort of thing. You need like something to fucking like keep you going, and like I said, at the start of purpose in life as well. Like
you know what, like as people like think this is crazy, but like the last 2 weeks, yeah. Like I've been kicking myself, because I haven't recorded the podcast. Well, I recorded a podcast, right? But I fucking there was some technical difficulties. I couldn't release it, right? So like I've been beating myself up so much about it, and then that's when I realized like how much I love something. Because when I couldn't do it, I was like I just felt like a shell of a human being. As crazy as that sounds to some people, man. So you got to think like. You're 33 years old, right? Now, we've just sat here and talked about everything you've achieved, from, receiving medals for representing your country in the most dangerous part of a war zone, to MMA, to nearly 100 boxing matches, to protecting some of the biggest celebrities in the UK and in Europe and the world, to now elevating even further, to being in films. Do you ever just sit back and think like, fucking hell, like I've done this?
Never. Nah, not really. I got plenty more left in the tank. Like, but I just still see myself like just like regular guy. Just I haven't really like done anything like that no one else could do. Like, it's just there's a lot of people out there have achieved like 10 times more than I have. So I like just the chase is like good. It's like when you're on Only Fools and Horses. I know it's like make believe, but when he wanted to become a millionaire and he was like chasing like doing stuff, he was like loving life, and then when it actually got handed to him, like he just went on like a downward spiral. And the same with Tyson Fury. He wanted to beat Klitschko, be world champ, and then after that you have the downfall. So as long as I've always got like some sort of goal and like don't like get ahead of you, like always looking to improve in all different areas of your life. Because
so always just have something.
Just always have something to like go for.
Even
yeah.
if it's like, to the people listening, right? Even if it's fucking small goals, right? Even if you say I want to walk 100 meters today, 200 meters, I want to jog 100 meters.
Yeah, we're all on a different journey.
If you just have a goal for the next day, right? If you complete that goal, you've won.
Yeah.
You've won. You've got a small win. Like, so, for instance, this is how easy it is, right? Like,
I went. I drove out of town, right, to some woods, and I jogged around them, and that broke the habit I was in. Just me doing that, right, for half an hour, and it changed my mindset. And I think people just they go to sleep and then like they think same old shit tomorrow. Well, add something to your list. Look, we've all got shit to do, right? But why not make it shit you like? Like, yeah, like because look, nobody has to wake up and do terrible manual fucking labor like they're in a concentration fucking camp. People have to go work, so what, right? Like everybody does. But like, why not make your day, the list of your days, stuff you love doing? Like, you know, add some stuff that you love doing. Like instead of Netflix, fucking, do what you love. People are. Do you know why people are scared to do what they love because they're scared of failure? I fucking love failure. Like like, see if this video got 0 views,
Yeah, so
right?
be it.
I'd be like, Bobby, you're coming back for a fucking second interview.
Yeah, it's all a process.
Like I would fail and I would fail fast and I'd learn from it. Like people need to understand that failure is their best friend. You can't improve without failure. Like because every time you fail, you're learning.
Yeah, no one's perfect. You just got to keep
Like
cracking on.
if you're not failing, then you're doing everything right. And like you're doing stuff you know all the time.
Yeah.
I fail every day, bro. Like I fail every day and I fail fast and I learn from it and I fucking get back. Like failure is everybody's best friend. People need and don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about you, because you know what? Like look at the people that are judging you. Who the fuck are they? The only person that can judge me is me. The only person that can judge anyone is themselves. Like you look, if I was to throw a fucking stone at every dog that barked at me, I wouldn't make it to the end of my fucking road, Bobby. People, this guy calls me this guy calls me that. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, you got a thick skin, haven't you?
Like, of course you do. Like, I'm just waiting for those comments to hit the YouTube. Like, do you understand? Because like, I just, I just see those people that hate themselves, and people need to realize that like, showing off, like financially, is the most pointless thing you could do in this world. Because if I pull out a 20 grand watch, right, someone's got a 30 grand watch, someone's got a 40 grand watch. If I pull out 100 grand, someone's got 200 grand. Like, you're never going to be, like, at the top. So all you're doing, right, is you're spitting on the people that in your town or where you're from, where you grew up, where you come up from. You're spitting on them. Unless you become a success and you inspire them. But a lot of people aren't doing that. And that's the people I want to call out, So, like, whereas you just gave 10 tips to people that want to get into close protection. You gave tips to people that, like about the military, like you helping the community, you come back, you stopping women getting fucking raped, like, so I respect that. And on that note, we'll bounce.
We'll end on a high.
We'll always end on a high. Because there's never going to be a low, especially when there's two good motherfuckers in a room.
Yeah, no, always remember what John Fury told me that time, that prep talk. Never, ever give up.
Never give up. So if you're listening to this and you feel like giving up, never give up.
No surrender.
Even if you don't fucking know me, never surrender. Be strong like Russia. And if you have any fucking doubts, you know where my inbox is. Because this isn't my podcast. This is our podcast. Peace.
Take care, everyone.